Hello, everybody. Happy Daytime Emmy Day to all who celebrate. And I can't think of a better way to kick off the 52nd annual Daytime Emmy Nominations Special than the man, Peter Bergman of The Young and the Restless, who is now, as of today, 25 nominations.
Hi, Michael.
Did they say you're the Meryl Streep of soap opera? Like, do people say that analogy to you?
No, that was actually a few years ago when we kind of had the same number of nominations and the same number of wins. But I think I now have more nominations, but that's in daytime television. Yeah.
You do. So you've won 3 times.
I have
25 nominations, and 24 of those are for Jack Abbott and The Young and the Restless.
That's correct. One for all my children when I played Cliff,
and one for dear Cliff, Dr. Cliff. What can you tell me about your nominated reel? Because my favorite performance, as I've told you, was the Nikki intervention in the hotel room. And I thought it was so fantastic. It's delved in my mind. Is that what you used?
Yeah, it is indeed what I used. There were good things and bad things about it. The good thing is it was a well-conceived idea. A dear friend has slipped and Nikki is in the worst way, and Jack, in his effort to help her, to get her to a meeting, goes a step too far, a tragic step too far, and it was wonderfully written. I worked with the amazing Melody Thomas Scott, who was quite wonderful in those scenes. But the downside was when people are viewing tapes, they're watching people do 3 and 4 scenes and showing variety and lots of different things. And here he is working with this person, and here he is working with that person. And here's, I had 1 scene on my tape. Because you'll remember, it was just the 2 of us in the entire episode. So I went from 1 commercial break to another commercial break with my Emmy reel, where normally there would be 4 scenes in there.
I remember talking to you after this had aired, and when you taped it, was it difficult to keep up that intensity and all the changes as an actor?
Supremely difficult. Yes, right. Supremely difficult. It's worth saying, in that same week, I did 3 other episodes of The Young and the Restless. So that was just 2 days, and I taped other scenes on both of those days. So it was just crazy. And again, Melody and I adore working with her. She's a friend and a wonderful actress, and her commitment to this was just extraordinary. And
I honestly feel, and I know many of the fans feel this way too, that Melody plays boozing drunk Nick better than anybody I've ever seen.
Better than anyone I've ever seen. Very, very difficult thing to do. Everybody thinks, oh, you just get sloppy. Oh, no. No, she is very good at this. And I've asked her many times, do you just have that much experience tripping over yourself drunk? And she said, no, somebody told me how to go about it, and it turned out I was good at it.
She did. I remember her telling me this years ago. Yeah. Somebody told her what not to do.
Exactly. That's what she told me too. Somebody told her what not to do. You are not trying to be drunk. You are trying to be sober.
So what happened today when you find out you have your 25th Emmy nomination and you got in for lead actor? What was your reaction? And
my reaction was delight, because I knew what I submitted. I in years past, I have had a lot of control over what got submitted, and this time, because of the nature of this show, where again I'm in every single scene of the episode, was as simple as somebody saying, well, which one are we putting in there? And they dropped it in there and I was done. So I thought, I didn't spend any time on this. I didn't put, the effort in that I normally do. I hope that pays off. I don't know. And it paid off.
I would have been shocked if you did not get nominated for this, because I truly believe.
Frankly, I am shocked that Melody Thomas Scott is not nominated.
I was very shocked.
Yeah, shocked.
Very shocked. She did such amazing work during the
just wonderful, and that friendship I have with her goes so far back. I don't know if everyone knows the tale of how I got the job.
Yes,
I was on All My Children. My job had come to an end, and I guess I wasn't high on anyone's list of most likely to go. So I was on the cover of all the magazines, and Melody Thomas Scott, en route to Canada with her husband, the executive producer of the show, Ed Scott, saw one of the covers and said, and they'd been looking for a replacement for Jack Abbott for months. They'd tested 5 different guys. They still hadn't found him. And she turned to her husband and said, "That's Jack Abbott." And Ed actually listened to her, and they got in touch with my agent. And so, I really owe a giant part of my success to Melody Thomas Scott. And if I'm lucky enough to win this year, I owe a lot of that to Melody Thomas Scott as well.
I also remember you and us talking on the red carpet at the YNR and 13th in the anniversary party, and you had told me that Debbie Morgan is the one that told you that the role was open. Did she say?
Yeah, actually, the story goes like this. I went back to work at All My Children, and I was working with Debbie Morgan, and I said, I got this weird call from Young and the Restless to confirm how tall I was. I said, what? And my agent said, yeah, that's what they want. I said, well, you can tell them how tall I am, I guess, and Debbie Morgan said, so wait, is this? I said, it's a replacement role, and I'm not big on replacements. Replacements didn't work terribly well on All My Children. And Debbie said, wait, are you auditioning for Jack Abbott? I said, yes. She said, run, don't walk, Peter. Run to that job. It is a wonderful role. And Debbie was right.
Now, what I love about you is you're kind of a student of soap operas, and you watch other people's performances in other shows, which I think is so important. And it's great that you're in the genre, you spend the time to know. Now, you have in your category this year, Eric Martsolf.
Yes.
Our lives.
He and I have been pitted against each other. He's a friend, and I like him, and I go out of my way to see him every Emmy.
Greg Rikaart from Now Days of Our Lives.
Greg Rikaart is the most wonderful surprise in this whole thing. I am such a giant fan of Greg Rikaart as a person, as an actor, as a character on that show. He has more fun over there. It is spectacular, and if I lost to Greg Rikaart, I'd be a very happy man. And
Paul Telfer, have you met Paul?
I've not met Paul, but I know his work well. Yes, very clever actor, and I know Dominic very well. I know Dominic's work very well. He and I have met actually through Jason Thompson introduced me to him. So
it's kind of a nice group because it's not all the usual suspects.
It is not the usual suspects at all. That's right. It isn't. It isn't many of the people that we're used to seeing in there. It is. I'm afraid I'm kind of the odd man out that way. I'm the old man among all these young bucks.
No, but this is a Peter Bergman potential year to win. I'm like, this is a towering performance. I can't believe how when they had said, and he's like, I'm going to call my dealer, and he's doing the whole thing. I mean, it just took such a turn. And then I was like, when you got the script?
Oh, I was stunned. I thought, wow. So, yes, years ago, when Jack had suffered from his addiction to pain pills, When they first introduced the idea, I said, I have only one big request. Could Jack only be addicted to pain pills? Alcohol is not his issue at all. Please, please. And it seemed to fit into what Melody and I were doing that day. That in his effort to get on the same page as she was on, he realized he had to go a step further, and calamity came of that. Yeah.
Did you vote this year? Were you on a peer?
I did.
Like, how did you feel overall, without saying, like, how did you feel the work was? What did you think about how it's being done now in terms of?
Well, overall, I saw a lot of wonderful work. I was beyond thrilled that Susan Walters got nominated. She's my scene partner again and again. I think she's a spectacular actress. She makes me laugh every day. I just think she's supremely talented, and I am so happy she got recognized. Courtney has clearly proven herself already, last year's winner, and the other women in that category, that was the category that I judged, and the women that are in there have really good reels. They're all good.
Now we're gonna have Susan on later. Are you in her reel?
I am in her reel. Yes, she had told me I am in her reel. She's very good, man. She's very good.
Yeah, and who would ever know that years that they bring her back was such a surprise.
When they told me about it, I said, great. I like her very much. And what has come of that has been just completely rejuvenating for me, and given me so much to play, and I'm very, very proud of what Susan and I have pulled off in the most unlikely couple to reunite that perhaps the show has ever had.
I know. And what's it like for you? It's Emmy night. You've won 3 times, but you've also lost a bunch of times. So they call the name and you're not the winner, right? Are you like... Is it?
I am so used to that. I am so well trained for that moment. It comes and it goes very quickly. And occasionally I get to cheer somebody on whose work I really, really respect. I lost a couple of years ago to John McCook, a dear friend and a supremely talented guy. Thorsten Kaye has won a couple, and I love him and love his work, and so it's easy to do all this stuff. We have Billy Flynn here at Young and the Restless now, and I was up against him a couple of years ago or a year ago, and had I lost to him, I'd have jumped up and down. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, are you thrilled that Billy's with you guys now?
He's just terrific. He's a wonderful addition to the show, a good actor, a good person, and yes, smart. Knows what to ask and where to fight his battles. He's very, very savvy at all of that, and that's what you get when you hire somebody who has experience in daytime.
Two comments. Candace says Peter Bergman is somebody we like to say has class for this genre, and that's why we love him.
Well, that's lovely. Thank you, Candace. I will. Yeah, I treasure those kind of comments. Thank you.
And then I love Jack and Diane. Greetings from Poland. Adam is here.
Poland. Oh, I love that. I love it. I love when people come up to me and want to address me in another language. It thrills me. It's happened to me in France. It's happened to me in Italy. It's happened to me. Yeah, it's great fun.
And now here's one for you real quick. Love Peter Bergman. The chair toss and leaving Vic for dead is iconic.
Yeah, that was a great moment. I wish I'd thrown him out the window. Well, there you are.
Peter Bergman, I thank you so much for kicking off the 11th annual Daytime Emmy Nominations Special. You are the man, and I am so thrilled that you were nominated for this performance. It was one of my, I'm saying this to you, truly one of my all-time favorite performances, and I've watched 40 years of daytime television, and I feel this was one of the greatest. I loved it so much. So we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Michael. And coming from someone who knows daytime television so deeply, you're a rare bird these days. You really are. And
I know everybody else is
and I am very grateful for you and your knowledge of what we do. And I hope you have great fun with these other nominees. They're very deserving, all of them.
Right. And we'll see you in October, we'll see you in October.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's the nice thing this year. There's enough distance between nominations and that we can really enjoy the nominations.
And here's the thing that I like. It's not in the dead of summer, so we're so hot dressed up.
That's right. That's right. I like that too. Boy, will my wife, Mary Ellen, will be very happy about that.
Mary Ellen. All right, Peter, have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. Bye, all.
Bye. And next, look who's with me. Sharon Case.
Hi.
Hi. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Another one of my absolute, they better get nominated or else people. Sharon, it's lovely to see you. Thank you for being here and congratulations. And I believe this is your 7th nomination?
Something like that. I don't remember. I thought it was 6, but maybe it is. I don't know. I lost track because it's been so many years.
So many years. But you've won once, and that was the beautiful princess dress that I always remember.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this? I'm dying to know, with all of your body of work of last year, which was big story for Sharon, what did you choose for your reel to land you the actual nomination? What scenes did you go with?
Well, the Sharon murdering Heather, the murder storyline, went on for months. So there was a lot of material in there to choose from. I initially thought, well, for sure, I'm going to choose one of the scenes of where I have just before murder Heather. I break into her apartment and she shows up, and we have a very long scene. It was, I remember, 13 or 14 pages, just she and I talking. And I think, of course, there's Lyndon Ashby is in the scene toward the end. The second scene I was considering is a continuation where it's me and Lyndon, who is, I love him. I love working with him. I love the storyline because he came back to the show to do this storyline with us, and I loved it. But anyway, both of those scenes that I really had my eye on were very, very long. And you only have 15 minutes in your Emmy reel of material that you can add to the reel. So by the time I added one of those scenes, there was no room for a second scene. So I would have to just submit the one. And I ended up finding a way to put it together where I have some scenes with Lyndon, and that's during the murder storyline. And then I have some with Joshua Morrow also regarding the murder storyline. So a lot of people think that what I would have submitted or had to choose from was the asylum storyline with Michelle Stafford, but that aired the following year.
I had in my head, so there was the moment that I loved was her crying in the car. Is that, you remember?
Yes.
Is that in this?
Yeah, that's in the reel. That was, I really, when I read that, I was so excited to shoot that. It took a very long time to shoot it because we had to light the car that I was getting into, the inside of the car or the outside. We were there lighting for hours before I finally shot that one scene. It's just me in the scene. So that, yes, that's in there. And me and Lyndon Ashby and Joshua Morrow. And when I got the news yesterday that I was nominated, Lyndon called me, and I hadn't talked to him in a while, but I have such fond memories of working with him, and he's one of my very favorite people in the world. When I saw Lyndon's name pop up on my phone, I was just so enchanted that he's who I wanted to hear from, because that scene in this storyline happened it was as much of his work as mine and Josh Griffith's. The three of us made that storyline happen.
And I remember I think it was your anniversary, we sat down on the set, you and I, we filmed an interview, one of my favorite interviews ever. And I held up pictures and I said, what do you think? And you went, Cameron Kirsten, my favorite. I love Lyndon Ashby. I'm so mad I don't get to work with him. I've never had and like flash forward the last few years, there he's been again.
Yeah. God, I'm so lucky he came back, and for such a wonderful storyline, my favorite storyline. probably that I've ever done. And well, all of my favorites had to do with murdering him. I don't know how many times my characters killed him, but I just love to do it. I hope he comes back for more. And he's also nominated as guest performer, so we get to go together.
Are you in his scenes?
I don't know what he chose. You know what?
I didn't ask him. He's going to be on later. I'll ask him.
Oh, okay. Because he had a lot of really good stuff. A variety of things. Sometimes not with me. It could have been anything, but he was brilliant. He was funny. He was scary. He was amazing.
Now, the episode where she thinks she killed Heather and she's dragging the butt, like, is that before the crying? Is any of that in there?
Yeah, I think right after Sharon kills Heather and cleans up the apartment, all this blood, wraps her body in a sheet and drags it down the stairs and into the trunk of her car, which I've done before. Sharon's done that before years ago, and I loved it so much. And it's been years, and I thought, gosh, I want to do that again. And thankfully, Josh Griffith wrote that. I did it. I dragged Lyndon again. Or no, wait, not this time, Lyndon. Last time it was Lyndon I killed, and I dragged his body into the trunk of my car. This time it was Heather. So, and Vale Bloom, she was so great and terrific to work with. Wonderful in that 14-page scene we had. Just wonderful. Wonderful to work with. She laid there for a long time on the floor while I wrapped her up in a sheet and everywhere. I remember her concerned about getting blood in her hair. And that was funny.
Oh, that's
I'd be concerned too. And so I dragged her body into the car. Then when Sharon closes the trunk and gets into the driver's seat is when Sharon is crying and having that breakdown because of what she just did.
Yeah, Freeman is saying Sharon did. Yes, we know Sharon didn't really kill Heather, but at the time Sharon thought she killed Heather.
Yeah, everybody thought.
Right.
I thought.
Did you know even at that point that it was not going to turn out to be? Did you have an idea? Like, did they say you're really not going to be the killer?
I don't remember. It was so long ago we shot it. But if I did know that it wasn't going to be me, I didn't know who it would have been. That wasn't revealed to me for a long time. And so, I don't think that I did specifically know that it wasn't going to be me. I thought, okay, there's a chance it won't be me. But right now, all the evidence points to me. I'm the only one here. So I'm going to go with that.
Now, I believe this reel then is a departure because of the material you got. I don't think we've ever seen you this unspooled in your nominations, or have we?
No, maybe. Sharon has manic depression. She's on meds, so she has gone off her meds and on benders, and just gone off the rails several times that I've played her. But each time it is a little bit different. I want it to be different. It's written slightly different. I play it definitely different depending on the circumstances. And this was something we had never seen before. This was really dark, really haunting, quite a different personality from Sharon. I just decided to go ahead and go all the way with her having a wildly different personality. And the writing, provided for that. So I leaned into it.
So what do you think? It's such a heavy Y&R ladies category. Yeah. And we've got you and Eileen Davidson and Melissa Claire Egan and Michelle Stafford, and then Nancy Lee Grant and Laura Wright from General Hospital. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this 6-pack of women here and being included with them?
Well, I think if there's 6, if there's 6 in a category instead of 4 or sometimes 5, that means that there was a lot of good work. And so I'm competing in a category against or with all of these women who everybody is a strong competitor. Everybody had good work. So it's a tough category, but whoever wins, will be very thrilled. We'll all be thrilled for her. Every single actress in the category is so strong, and strong every year. Every year. I never thought all these years in daytime. I don't know how many years it's been, 30 at Young and the Rest, but other shows prior, so probably it's more than 30. I never imagined myself sitting at that table with all the strongest ladies in daytime. But I don't know.
So that is okay. Come on. Like, you are so wonderful, and you're such a great actress, and you killed this whole storyline, and you obviously maybe killed Heather, but you killed the whole storyline. And
I did. It'll come out.
yeah, I just kept thinking it looked exhausting.
It
But
was.
maybe you were having fun and then exhausted and then going back and
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the whole thing was incredibly exhausting. The that one murder episode where I break into the apartment, Heather shows up. We have a 14-page scene leading to me killing her. I think I had a 12-hour set, and I think it might have been one of those days was just me all day long. Yes, first it was me, Heather, and Lyndon. Followed by the next day was just me talking to Sharon's daughter Cassie's grave. That whole
Oh
episode,
my gosh.
that just Sharon talking to the grave. So I was the only one with any dialogue in the entire script. And to do that the next day after a 12-hour set, I remember, it was very, very hard. I was shocked that I could do that kind of work, or work that long and memorize that much. Shocked. But I do remember, I just took it in stride, one scene at a time. That's what they say. Just do it one scene at a time. I remember the stage manager getting calls on his headset. How is she doing? What is she doing? And he'd look at me and go, she's fine. She's just sitting on the sofa. Like, we're on break. I was fine. I did it.
I just remember talking you through it. I remember you saying exhausting, but you kept saying, I remember you saying you were getting a script. He's like, come on, Josh Griffith, keep him coming. Because you were so knee deep in it.
Yeah.
And we were watching it unfold and you were several weeks ahead, but you were still in it. And I was like, oh my God, this is going.
It did. It kept going and going. And you know what? I think once I got that running start and was used to that pace, I could keep going. And so I thought I might as well. I'm already here, live at the studio these days. All I do is memorize dialogue, shoot it, memorize more dialogue, shoot it. Like, that's my whole day and night. I might as well just keep doing it. But now I've had a break, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I ever gonna reach that level again?
You're like, can I ever reach that again?
I'm on break, so I don't really want to think about it either. I'm enjoying my summer vacation. But after that storyline ended at the end of last year, this year in January, the whole month, I was shooting with Michelle Stafford, the asylum story. That went every day for a month. And I remember on our holiday break, I was already memorizing all that dialogue because it was so much. But I love that story. It was fun.
Like Freeman is saying, loved her work this year when Sharon and Phyllis were kidnapped. So that material could be at play for you next year, potentially.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
You could be to that. Sherry, rooting for Queen Sharon. Congratulations. Your fans must be going crazy, Sharon. You've got those diehard fan base, right?
They're so supportive and wonderful and kind. And, that means a lot to me. This was a long time coming in my life and my career. So it means a lot.
Yeah. Did you judge in other categories? Did you participate in
No, they let me take a break from judging this year. Judging is a big deal. It takes a lot of time.
It's a commitment, right?
Yes, it is a big commitment. And, I think a lot of the actors who I know, and when we judge, we take it very seriously. We watch everything carefully, and that can take your whole weekend, maybe 2 whole weekends, to watch all that material and decide. And so for me, it's a lot of work, and I'm kind of on break right now. So
Right.
They let me off this year. I did not judge this year. All that.
Do you think that this storyline, now this for me, that 2024 story was one of my all-time favorites of yours ever. Where does it rate for you based on all of this lengthy career?
That rates for me up there with the best work I think I've ever done. I was really allowed to do what I do best, and that's play crazy people and, serial killers. That's just... So
it's like, hi, here's my resume. I play killers.
My strong suit. I mean, I play a lot of things, but if I have a great writer, a very crafty, interesting writer, then that kind of a storyline can be quite interesting. You can do a lot with your character. Josh Griffith is that writer. So there was nothing broad strokes about this. This was a very detailed writing, detailed performance, and I was very glad to get to do that story to do what I do best, what I feel I do best. That's what I studied mostly when I was in school. That's what they gave me.
What happened when you found out you were nominated, and what happened at that moment? Were you?
I was like kind of napping, and Matt Kane called me, and I answered. I always think something's wrong whenever he calls. I'm like, oh my God, what? Am I supposed to be at work right now? Like, no, he's like, you're nominated for an Emmy. And what? I thought Emmy nominations, I get so confused about when they are because they do some of them one day and some of the next.
Confusing. Yes. Yes.
And then they say it's going to happen at a certain time of day and it doesn't happen at that time. So you thought, then I think, well, that's the whole day is wrong. It's another day. So I had taken a nap and forgot about it. But then when he called, I'm like, are you sure? No, because they keep changing it. But he's like, no, this is for reals. So that's what happened this year. And I'm like, what do I do now? And he said, call your mom. Okay.
Anyway, now you like the idea of dress, like the red carpet? Do you like the dressing up part of this and finding the dress, or you kind of like don't like that part?
I don't think I do. I mean, I always find a dress I like, but it's a lot of work to find a dress that you like, and you just feel like it has to be the perfect dress. They're all great. It doesn't have to be. But you feel like it does. So you feel like, this is a lot of work putting this whole ensemble together. And you know what? Red carpet photo shoots, I find, are the toughest photo shoots you'll ever have.
Every actor says that to me, and I completely understand why. It's really awful, I think, probably, right?
Yeah, because, I mean, you're in a normal photo shoot, actors are used to doing that. You have time to get the right lighting and the right angles for you. And on this red carpet, it's whatever. It's kind of more candid. And then for me, all those flashes, it kind of makes me dizzy or gives me a headache a little bit. So I have to really prepare myself for all of that, and because it's going to be a lot. You'd be surprised at what that looks like when you're on that side of the carpet having all of that flash photography. It's a lot.
Well, we will see you in October.
Yep.
If not before.
Yep.
And really, really congratulations, Sharon. It was such a well-deserved, beautiful, beautiful work. Incredible. It was so intense. I had a knot in my stomach the whole time, so I can only imagine.
Oh my God. Thank you. It was pretty intense. So thank you for your time and for, doing this and inviting me here today. I'm so thrilled.
I'm just so glad I got to see you on here and, give you a hug and congratulate you. This is the kickoff.
I'm really over the moon that the nomination happened. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, Sharon. Have a good night.
Bye.
What's going on, Eric Martsolf? I see you are you going to go this way? Vertically? Horizontally?
Look, I read instructions and I was like, make sure you're in horizontal. And I can't get it in horizontal. I go like this and I'm upside down. So if I go like this, I'm still upside down.
Curious to why every year you and I have this happens.
Right, because last year I was locked
in the car with Brandon Barash
and Wally and Carson Boatman. Yeah, there's always
something. You're on your iPhone?
Yeah, but it won't go. Look, I think
you must have something set on your settings that's got you in this instead of this.
Well, I'm not a StreamYard guy, but you look great. Your lighting is perfect. Your background is perfect.
I've got Emmys all over the place.
I brought my biggest fan with me. I don't know.
Hey, congratulations again. One of the greats. You're one of the greats. And now you've got another nomination. This is incredible.
It's really cool. It's really cool. Yeah, it's like Groundhog's Day a little bit. I'm really getting accustomed to this being a nominated thing, and if it translates into wins, that's fun. I have one. I got one 9 years ago, but my God, it's really fun to come to the party knowing that you have that you have a dog in the hunt.
So tell me about, or for everybody that's with us tonight, what scenes did you submit? What was your theory? How did you figure it out, and what did you go with, and why did you choose those?
I went with a bunch of moments. honestly. I get this question. I do a lot of Zooms with fans and stuff, and they love this question. They're like, who's your favorite actor? And I found myself really thinking about it, and I don't really have a favorite actor. I have favorite moments. I have favorite performances in movies or in TV, and because no one actor gets it right all the time, but I'm a fan of moments. So I went and found these moments. They're not long. Some are very quick. Like I have this short little thing with Deidre Hall, but it just moved me. Little moments that moved me. I included. I go my go-to is when I'm screaming at Kristen. I open with that. I mean, because we always they love to write us antagonistic, and she's such a fireball. So had to include some of that. But I think my favorite part of the reel was with Leo Howard, my new son Tate. It's when I have to shamefully tell him that I think I hit somebody while I was drunk and drove away.
Oh, yes.
It's in the interrogation room, and as a father, Michael, I just like I looked at these scenes thinking to myself, how do you look at your sons, which I happen to have two of them, and say, well, your father's a mess. I don't blame you if you hate me. And you should never do what I did. And I hope we still have a relationship after all this is done. Like he's literally put it in on the line with his kid and saying, I hope you don't hate me because I'm ashamed of myself. And it you know, that was stuff that I just couldn't even imagine that would be bearable. So I think parents relate to this reel. Parents relate to this reel that I submitted.
And you know what? I think Leo's really good as Tate. And there was a whole thing about because he's more older in real life. Like it's a little like he's playing younger, but I think there's a good father-son dynamic between the two of you. I think.
Thank you. I agree with you. I think he is good. I think he has great chops. He's been in the business a while, and he spends a lot of time in my room dissecting his dialogue, and he really gives a damn, and he wants it to be good, and he loves his job too. And when you love your job, you can tell. You can tell when these actors, when they really put in the work and put in the time. I think that's probably one of my greatest bullets I have in my gun is that I do just love my gig. So it's not work for me. It's play. It's fun.
Well, also Brady is a great character. I really think he's a great character to get to play. And then you've kind of infused it with Eric, into it. And so now it's kind of like definable by your role. It's and now he's John's son, and John, that's even more like legacy of the show, which you will always have with you now. What do you think about the other guys? You've got Peter Bergman, who just talked very highly of you, Greg, Paul Telfer, and Dominic Zambronia. What do you think of these men?
They're all right. I mean, I think last time I talked to you, Michael, my mother, God bless her soul. I've been thinking a lot about my parents lately and how much they would get a kick out of this if they were still here. But if she knew that I was duking it out with Peter Bergman, from who she just adored for years and made me sit in front of the TV and watch him and Victor just go at it, she would just, it's just my biggest regret that she isn't able to see how kind that man is too. When he makes a point, he beelines to his competitors that night at the Emmys and looks you in the eye and shakes your hand and wants to know who you're with. Oh, are these your sons? Is this your wife? He's one of our best. He reminds me a lot of Drake. Just humble. And if he wins, awesome. As far as my other two Days of Our Lives castmates, we're just having a ball with this. We're the three amigos, and if one of us gets it, that's terrific. We bring it home to the same place. I think Greg Rikaart I think he's a little more competitive than most of us. He'll probably kill me if I win it. He'll find some way to destroy my life or something. He's such a cool dude. And Dominic, I have not spent time getting to know the guy, but I've certainly seen his work from afar, and he's solid. That dude is solid.
Did you judge this year?
I did not judge this year. Okay. I regret that too. I got life kind of took me by the horns and threw me in a couple different directions, but I did not get to judge.
So when you look at the big picture now, I think you won previously in supporting, and that was the drug addiction story.
Yes.
And that was the whole thing in itself. What is your advice to sitting there when you win, or do you have to do the face when you lose? Like, what's your advice?
Of course you do. Of course, one would argue that that's the greatest acting that we do during the course of the year. Is that, you know,
Is that
the other
moment.
person saying, no, it's
Now, we're all very close. That's the thing. We are really all very close in the daytime community. I think.
It really is one of those strange things where
It's weird.
you're like, well, if I'm not going to win it, I'm glad that guy won it because I like him. I like everyone in my category very much. You know, I mean, they're just good, decent people. It'd be a lot easier if the people you were up against were just a bunch of jackasses, you know, and you're like, yeah, good, I beat you. You don't deserve it anyway. Everyone in our industry, Michael, works their tail off. They all have, we know what we do. And we know that sometimes we don't get the recognition in the soap community for I don't even know how to put it, but you know what I'm talking about, that stereotype. Oh, you're a soap actor. I hold my head so high about that. I'm like, if you have any doubts about how hard we work and what we do, come on over and give it a shot. Come on over and give it a try. So when you put all those people together who have the same work ethic and love their jobs, it's hard not to root for each other. It really is.
What did Lisa and the boys, or your boys, say about the nomination today? Did they say, "Oh, am I going to the Emmys with you again?"
Oh yeah. You know what I did, Michael? I tried to get an actual real reaction from my wife. I sent her the video of E! Entertainment Tonight announcing the nominees. And I sent it to her and I texted her. I said, babe, will you check this video? Mason sent me this weird video. I don't know what it is, but I think he needs something signed right away because she was hard to work on her computer outside. I stood there with my phone trying to get her reaction of seeing the video. I stood there for 29 minutes and she didn't open the thing. Finally, I texted her again. Please open it. This is important. Another 23 minutes. I could not get her to. Finally, I just went out with a bottle of champagne. I said, hi, would you like to go to the Emmys? And I posted it. It's her actual reaction.
I have to watch it. That's great.
It was very cute. She was like, oh.
Of course.
She just gets so excited. She loves to dress up. And I'm like, oh my God, I get to wear a dress. And I guess you do. We're going to go.
Yes, you do.
My boys want to come too. They want to come again. And I would love to have. They had a ball. Michael, I don't know if you saw footage.
I was there with you and them at the interview. We got everybody on the red carpet. They were all having a wonderful time, and they love to throw shade at their dad.
That they do. But the real fun they had was after. They danced the night away. They're like, Dad, this is great. We're eating crab legs and dancing. And they met everybody. They made the rounds, you know. So they want to come back. They're like, that's a great party, Dad. I hope you'll invite us. Like, sure. It's only what, $600 a ticket. That's when having twins is great. Just double that 600.
You had to have twins. You had twins. So think about, you and I met when you worked on Passions. From that then to this now, I am like, isn't that kind of like, I'm sure you, or maybe you did think back then, this is where I would end up in my career. Like, did you have in your mind, like, I'm going to be, you know, because let's face it, you never wore any clothes, and you know, now you're a serious actor.
Now I wear more clothes, so I got that going for me. Although I don't know, recently I've been taking them off, but that's a whole other thing. We don't need to talk about that. Michael, it's been a long journey, man. I mean, I've got 23 years in this now, with 23 years straight, with only a 7-month break from the end of Passions to Days. That's a quarter of a century. And I mean, a lot of people, they go off, they come back on. I've been going, and it's been terrific. But no, I did not think this is where I would be. I had a lot of managers and agents back in the day that were like, no, you stay on this soap for 6 months at the most. And then we hit the big stuff. We go for the movies and the prime time. We're going to make you a this and that and the other thing. And I just ended up loving my damn job too much. And I remember sitting in some of their offices and going, I hate to disappoint you, but I'm going to hang out on this soap opera circuit because it's challenging. I like the people, and maybe the genre itself has some issues with people, A-listers respecting the genre. I don't. I think it's great. So I stayed. I ran out of reasons to
You're
leave,
not
Michael.
to leave. You're not allowed to leave.
Why would I leave?
Why would you leave? Congratulations, Eric. I'm
Thank
so
you,
glad I
Michael.
got to spend a few moments with you and congratulate you again. Yay.
Thank
And
you, man. I appreciate you.
I'll see you soon.
See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Melissa Claire Egan.
Hi, Michael.
Sulu.
How are you? Sulu. I'll take it. I'll take it. By the way, I'm usually doing this from like downstairs in my living room. I'm hiding from my children. I'm just up against a wall, sitting on the floor.
That's okay. We'll take you in.
hiding
I hope the connection's okay so we don't lose you, but we're so
Yeah, is it okay? I think we're good.
Oh my God. I am so glad to see you. Oh my God. I kept thinking Sulu is back. And you're
I'm honored. I'll take it. I'll be the poor man Sulu forever.
So tell me, we were all talking, what was the scenes on your reel? Like, what did you decide to go with and why did you go with them?
So my reel consisted of a lot of the Connor's OCD storyline. My son on the show was having mental health issues. And I submitted scenes where Chelsea's in the hotel room and she finds out that he's begun cutting himself and he tried to hurt himself with a pen. And she's just devastated by that. Obviously, that's horrifying as a parent. And then I also submitted scenes where she's upset to Adam saying, like, I did this. His issues all started with me that night on the roof. And that's why my son is hurting because of what I did, which as a parent is so heartbreaking. And then I did another scene with his therapist explaining to her about how I had attempted suicide the year prior and how I blamed myself for his problems. And it was a lot of that. So it continued the mental health storylines, which, have been so important the past few years at The Young and the Restless. So, and it's interesting because a couple of years ago it was all my character's mental health issues, but now it's her son's, which is like, even like as a mother to two boys and blaming yourself for I just can't imagine. So it was really an honor to tell the story, and Mark and Judah did such a great job with it. And so, my reel was all like, a mom struggling with her son's mental health and blaming herself, essentially.
So it wasn't when she got drunk with Adam and hit the sheets?
No, that was like in my second reel.
Okay,
that was like in my OnlyFans.
Was it real?
That was in my OnlyFans reel.
It's like, hi, Melissa Claire Egan. This is my reel. And if you like, this is my OnlyFans reel.
Yeah.
Will either one get me the nomination?
I just took a guess and submitted the other one. But yeah. Well, you're getting tipsy off champagne. That's like not acting. That would be a breeze. But
you know what? That wasn't so awful because you really saw her they were both, she was really falling apart. She wasn't just like, let's go have sex. She was like,
no. So it's funny. Those scenes like part of my reel was the episodes prior when they found out Connor again tried to hurt himself with a pen. I think that's when she started spiraling. And so I believe a few episodes later is when they actually did sleep together. But no, that part was not on my reel. You silly goose. Get your head out of there.
I didn't mind right of the OnlyFans. I was going to say how obviously the actor that plays Connor, how was he in the scenes with you? And was it difficult to do those scenes, with him?
So he wasn't actually in those scenes.
In those scenes.
When we talk about him, he was amazing this whole season.
I know what you're talking about now. Yep.
Yeah. He's incredible and did such an incredible job with this storyline. He wasn't on the reel though. It's me and Adam finding out that he had hurt himself, and then me talking to a therapist, and me saying to Adam a different episode that I this is my fault. This all started with me that night on the roof. So he's actually not in the scenes, but yeah, his presence is felt for sure, and he was so good.
You have Sharon Case, Eileen Davidson, Nancy Lee Grahn, Laura Wright, Michelle Stafford. I know. Now, interesting, it's 6. So I'm wondering, there was probably
been a tie,
or it's so close somewhere, right?
Yes. Yeah. Because, when you vote, I'm sure you'd give a 1 to 7, 7 being the best. So I'm sure people tied. It could have even been a 3-way tie. I mean, who knows? I just hope the winner's not a tie. I think I'd rather like lose. I don't want to I don't like when they tie a win. Like draw straws at that point.
I don't like that either when it's like, and the two have tied, and I'm like,
it's a little weird. I don't think they do that. I hope they don't do that anymore. I feel like they should like have people revote in that round or something, because it just feels strange.
Is this your 8th nomination?
Yeah.
You know, I've been with you for all of them.
You sure have, yes.
You know that, right? You know we're that, right?
Yeah.
8 nominations. We said you're the Sulu. You're the one that has not won.
Correct.
I'm a little worried.
I am too. I think
we're starting to encroach. We're starting to encroach into territory.
I talked to you on the red carpet last year, or even the year before that, when I was nominated for that other storyline, and I was like, listen, it probably won't happen. And you're like, no, I was like, no, for whatever the universe wants. If I'm meant to just have a streak, it sounds so cliche, but I swear it truly is such an honor to be nominated, especially with this group of women, powerhouse women. And at the end of the day, I've said this to you before, like just being a working actor in this crazy business is a massive gift. To be able to shoot a show in Los Angeles is a massive gift. To love the people you work with on a show that gives you such incredible storylines is such a gift. So this is amazing, the nomination. And so it's like, if the streak continues, it's okay. I will survive. I will continue. But that's fine. I'm going to have fun, dress up, see you on the carpet, have some fun with my friends.
Right. Okay. So Lynn says, Melissa, I love you so much. I love the storyline with Chelsea's son, Connor, having OCD. I have OCD. I struggle with that. And you did an amazing job with the storyline, Melissa.
Thank you, Lynn. That's very kind. I think, like I said, it was a really important one for the show, because it's one thing when you deal with your own struggles, but when your child is having those struggles and you're blaming yourself, I can't imagine that type of pain. And when they're physically trying to harm themselves, finding that out, I can't even imagine that pain. So I'm really glad we told the story, and we've worked with the Kids Mental Health Foundation, who have been wonderful, and they helped us a lot. We do a lot of events with them now, and it's really kind of, I think, exposed an important thing in OCD and mental health for kids. I think it's really special that our show touched on all that.
La Lucior.
By the way, I want to make it clear, I do not compare myself to, once I said something and I was like, sure, yeah, I'll be the new Sulu. And the headline was like, Melissa Claire Egan says she's the new Susan Lucci. And I'm like, no, I didn't say that. No, that's not what I said. So I want to make it clear. I am not the queen.
But to be clear, you worked with Susan Lucci on All My Children, and you love Susan Lucci.
I love her so much, but she's like my queen. Like I've been watching her forever. I love her. I think she had like 19, so she's kicking my ass. And she's like, a legend. So I would never like compare myself to her. But it's starting to rack up, Michael. These things.
It is. I'm telling you.
I'm starting to feel for her in the 80s and 90s.
You can feel what Susan felt, unfortunately.
Correct. I can understand. I'm starting to feel her feelings.
But think about how she parlayed it into huge press.
True.
And once she won, then it was like, oh no, we don't have any more streaks.
I know. I think Susan winning was iconic. I think if I won, people would be happy, but I don't think she's a legend. That was like a legendary when she won. But listen, like I said, it's nice to be nominated. It truly is. I'm never like, oh my God, I lost again. It's like, well, back to work.
What did your husband say? Did the boys even know what's going on?
They had no idea what was going on. Matt was like, you better win again, or you're not coming home. No, he was so excited. Like, he's my number one fan. And he was just so excited for me. The boys had no idea what the hell it meant. But I came home. I was like getting my hair done, driving home, and Maddie Kane, our publicist, called. And Matt wasn't even home, but I came home and told my nanny, who's like one of my best friends now, and the boys were like, cool. But my nanny cared. She was the only one in my house that cared. And then Matt came home from work, and it was special. It's always it truly never gets old.
Now, from whence you came on All My, like whence you started, did you ever think you have to be kind of like, were those like goals? Was there like a goal, like I want to be did you have that as a goal?
Yes. Ironically enough, someone tweeted me today that July 10th.
It is your daytime anniversary.
It's my 19-year anniversary on All My Children. I aired 19 years ago for the first time on daytime television, which is amazing. Yes, I watched All My Children growing up. I watched All My Children and A Little Days of Our Lives growing up. And so I could not believe it. It was a dream. It was an absolute dream gig. And I used to like watch that da-na-na-na, with the pictures falling. That's what they did in like the 90s version. And I watched, Sarah Michelle Gellar's Kendall, and I was an extra on the show when I was 13, and I saw Susan Lucci from a distance, and I was like, oh. I loved Kelly Ripa. I mean, I loved everybody. I loved Dimitri. I loved everybody. And so I still pinch myself 19 years later that I was on that show. It's so
iconic.
I mean, they all are, and Y&R too. I just didn't know the show as well. I guess it was like an ABC girl in my youth.
It's so interesting. So many of the leading actresses of Daytime, which I consider you one of them, a lot of them, like, they did watch soaps, and they did watch they actually would love the fact that they're on a soap. They were never like, I don't like, no, they were.
No, I love it. And at the time I was 24. I wasn't like, oh, I must audition for soap operas. It's like whatever. That was just my destiny. I was auditioning for all random stuff. And All My Children was, what was meant to be. And Judy Bly Wilson is an angel, and she like discovered me from a tape. And I was living in LA, working at Le Petit Four on Sunset, hostessing, and it all was.
Well, you'd be a good grifter. Come on over to Y&R.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, this was to go to All My Children. Yes.
Oh, okay. But then.
Yes. And then I was lucky enough to get the job at Y&R, which has been an absolute dream for almost 14 years. So yeah, it's all really a blessing and an honor. And it's crazy. And I told you I watched a little bit of Days. So I remember Eileen from Days, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like nominated alongside Eileen and all these other women. Like, they're so good. And I'm just happy to be invited to the party.
It is so great to see you. Thank you so much for going into a room.
Yes, I'm hiding from them. I'll go.
Go into a room.
Yeah, good.
Always great to see you. We'll Sulu it up at the Emmys. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it.
We'll see. I'm very proud of my reel. It's I'm very proud of it. So I'm very honored, and I think no matter what, we'll just have a good time.
All right. I will see you soon, Melissa. Okay. Thank you for taking the time.
Of course, anytime.
Greg Rikaart is here.
Michael.
Thank you for making this work. I didn't want this to go by without having you on here. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I'm
Mr.
pretty happy
Daytime.
myself.
It's good to see you. I said, Mr. Daytime, and now you've got a talk show.
Well, it's a podcast, but
a podcast talk show. Ladies, she's Soapy with Rebecca Buddig and Greg Rikaart on CBS and on Odyssey. And so you can get the podcast version or the YouTube version.
On CBS's YouTube channel. It's on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. And we launched this week, and it was a really big success. And it's been a lot of fun. We did 13 episodes. And, right? It's fun talking about.
Michael Fairman. Now you know what it's like to do interviews.
Yeah. Well, the learning curve was hard and fast. You realize that what you do is hard work.
It's very hard. Yeah.
Yeah. The amount of work we have to do leading up to an episode is surprised me.
And you shot them all, or the first
13,
13 in probably a tight amount of time.
We did. We shot 3 shows a day for 3 days, and then our last day was 4 episodes, that was a humdinger. That was a lot of work because they're edited down to about an hour, but some of them have gone
longer,
way longer. Yeah, we have really fascinating guests and lots of the conversations go in really fun directions. So yeah,
and then I know you're associated with Rebecca, which is my highlight of the.
It's fun. It's before we started, she said, she was a little anxious, and she said, I don't think that I'm as quick-witted as you are. And I said, you are. Give yourself some credit. I said, and beyond that, you are such a good sport, and you're so winning and charming in your ability to take a joke that I think is what makes her the MVP there.
Absolutely, and it's great. It's a great combo. You drop the little nuggets and the little barbs, and she takes it in, and then
I think we really hit our stride around episode 3 or 4. Really sort of find our sea legs and have some really, really great conversations with some.
Yeah,
some
I
great
love
people
that you said that because so many people always think it's not easy to just I'm an interviewer. I interview people. I'm, hosting. There's a
Right.
curve to it, I think, a lot. People
For
are,
sure.
there are people that are, and I'm sure you do, like, how did they get to host that? Like, they're not even a natural fit to do that. It feels forced. But I think you guys have it kind of down.
Thanks.
Or getting.
Thanks. I hope we get to do more of them, because I feel like I love those television Academy interviews on that are 3-4 hour interviews that I could watch all day long. So I would love to get more behind the scenes. We have a few, but I'd love to get some more behind the scenes people, because I keep saying to Marnie Saida, I think having her on the show, or her and maybe Mark Teschner together, I feel like those are a lot of the stories that the fans would just eat up. Things that they have to say about how so-and-so got a job, or someone who was up for a job and didn't get that, but ended up on another show a few years later or something. Little cookies.
Right. So you are somewhere today, and you find out you're a lead actor nominee.
I found out yesterday.
Right, yesterday. I'm sorry. That's right. Yes. See, this is why the way they do this now is confusing. Yes.
Yeah. I like it, but it's cool how they sort of spread the wealth and.
So found out yesterday evening that you were nominated, and was it like, what was your reaction to this at the time?
I was a little. It sort of snuck up on me. Like, I didn't realize that it was happening. That yesterday was the day they were announcing lead actor, and so I was a little surprised and really, really happy. And I always just think that it's fun to throw your hat in the ring and then to sort of get invited to play the game and to be at the show as a nominee is always a special gift. So that's incredible. And then this one hits in an especially sort of great way, because it's my first lead actor.
It is your first. That's what I was going to say. Your very first in an incredible career. That this is the first one. So what did you end up going with on your reel?
I keep them wanting more. Nothing I appreciate less than like a 15 or I think they cut them short this year, but I don't think you need 10 minutes. I think I've watched casting tapes. Within 30 seconds whether or not someone is the right person for a particular job. So I kept mine nice and short. I had one scene where when Leo was babysitting baby Jude, and I didn't even want to submit all of that, even though it was a nice showcase, because it was really just all me and the doll, the baby doll. But I just did the one scene from there where Leo is sort of monologuing and expressing his concerns to the baby about the baby's future. And then the only other scene I put on there was a scene in the jail between Kevin and Diana. So on an episode that Judith was there, where she's being mommy dearest to poor Leo. And that's it, just those two scenes.
Amazing. Right, like short, in and out.
Yeah. And again, it's I'm thrilled to have a seat at the table. Getting nominated in this category is it's so satisfying to me that if this is the end of the road, I'm happy to be here, and it'll be a fun night.
So for those that understand, this was not comedy from Leo. This was the dramatic moment.
No, I feel like I've made that mistake before. I've submitted reels where I have sort of leaned into some of the lighter stuff, thinking that maybe reels that might have some similar angst and anger, and I always think that comedy is sort of a breath of fresh air, but I also think it doesn't always translate, and that's been my experience. So I was like, all right, I'll play by the rules this year and do something a little more traditional.
And there you go.
Yeah,
it's so funny. We always think like, let's have it differently. I'll do the comp, and doesn't always.
Yeah, I had a very light reel last year, and I had so many people reach out being like, "What a breath of fresh air! That is such a great tape." And I was like, so last year I was like, "Oh, it's in the bag." Okay, and I feel like I've done that also on Young and Restless, where in the past, where I've had lighter storylines and tried that approach, and I just don't think it works as well. Although I would argue that the lighter stuff is often harder than the anger and the angst that we have to play.
They can deliver the perfect timing like you have, which is I think a gift to be able to do. I don't think everyone can do that. I don't think it's just the words. I think but the words, they wrote some really amazing stuff.
Yeah, they give me a lot of great stuff. Look, there's a lot. I don't want to sell anybody short. I think there's a lot of people that could do what I get to do, but I'm grateful that I'm the one who gets to do it.
Amazing things to say about you. He thinks you're fantastic.
I just adore him. I adore him so much.
So great.
He's the one we all aspire to be like, on camera and off. Truly.
And now you're in lead actor with him.
Yeah, pretty wild.
And Eric Martsolf, who's here. And do you know Dominic?
Yeah. Dominic and I have crossed paths at the Emmys in years past, so I know him a little bit. I have great respect for him.
What's amazing about Peter, as you know, he knows everybody's work, he makes watches it, and I just think that's so, here he is, 25th nomination.
Incredible. But also, I think being an interested person in the world like Peter is something we should all aspire to be. I don't never aspire to be the most interesting person in the room. I just want to shut up and listen. That's why I think, not to bring it back to it, but I think that's why the podcast feels like a good fit for me, because I love being around interesting people. I can share an anecdote or two about something that I can relate a story they're talking about to my life, but I just want to sort of shut up and listen.
Right, and I know you have Deidre Hall coming up. I think we're going to see that one.
Yes.
How was that? Because she's the queen.
Oh, she's the queen. She's a powerhouse, and she's a legend and an icon, and just so lovely and warm and generous. And we share some. There's some great stuff that she talks about on the show. I don't want to give too much away, but one thing I shared is that we've gotten to work together quite a bit, and she's been at that show, at that job for over 40 years, and she will still text me or call me the day before we have a day where, more often than not, Leo has more to say than Dr. Evans does, because if he's sitting down in her office, he's sort of going on about his troubles and she's kind of just listening, but she'll call me or text me and say, hey, we've got a lot to do tomorrow. We want to get a head start on it tonight. And we will run lines for an hour after my son goes to sleep. And, that's a level of generosity that you don't get from everybody. So yeah, she's terrific, and I'm really excited.
When you first won your first Daytime Emmy, which was 2005,
mm-hmm.
And now you look at it now, did you ever think, like we just talked about, being in the lead actor, was that ever a goal, career goals, or?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I don't think. Look, to me, the job is the award. I know that's so cliche, and I'm sure other people have said that, but it's true. It's I think what winning that award was such a magical moment, and I will always be grateful for that. And if it were to ever happen again, I'm sure it'd be incredible too. But the award is that I get to work. So I think what feels really special about this is that it just feels like I have graduated, and that I have sort of earned a place at this particular table after doing the work that I've gotten to do for over 20 years now. But I don't know that it was ever okay, let me check that off the list, and now I've got to move on to this next goal, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. What did your husband say, and did Monty say anything? Does he understand what's going on?
I think he has a vague understanding, because he has seen the other trophy in the house, and he knows that it means that I won an award. And so he was basically do I get to come? And I was like, yeah, I think you can come. And then I said, well, we might have to get you a tuxedo. And then he was incredibly disinterested. And Rob was thrilled for me. And yeah, it's been a really great 24 hours.
And what would you say that to come, I mean, with Leah, what we're going to see coming up now, he's got, well, obviously with El Calderon, you're in story with now. And now there's another baby. It's like doing this again.
Well, this baby story hits a little differently because of the roles that Leo and Javi end up taking on in this baby's life. So that it's really fun. It's a really good story, and it's been fun to. I hope he feels this way, but I feel like there's a lot of it where Al really gets to shine, and you know, in many ways, it feels more like Javi's story, and Leo just sort of has to take a supportive role. And so it's been terrific. Al is just the loveliest, and it's been a lot of fun working with him. And Emily's back, which is incredible.
Emily's back.
Is she coming on your show today?
She couldn't make it, but I was hoping for Emily.
Yeah,
she's so great.
I adore her.
I can't believe, I mean, I literally go back to Jana and Kevin, and it's like, right?
That's a fun thing that we remark on, from time to time, is like, who would have thought, right? Because we've, I want to say that she probably started working on Young and Restless 20, if not close to 20 years ago. And, we had such a great run there and such a fun dynamic there. And we have such a fun dynamic here that's so different. But I think we, there are sort of maybe foundational elements that we can draw upon from just the comfort that we have with one another. So, yeah.
What's it like? We were talking, and maybe you heard me ask that. So is it weird, since you've been on both ends of it, of not winning and winning, to kind of be sitting there and having to do the, if you lose? Or
I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely feel like I have a lot of wind in my sails right now, if that makes sense. Like, and I'm just so happy, and I can't imagine that. Look, I'm certainly a little bit competitive, and it would be nice to win, but I cannot.
You are competitive.
You should see me at a game night.
I'm so afraid of you on a game night. I would not know.
I've injured myself. There was one game night I went to, true story, where we were doing running charades, and my team had won, and I was so pumped and had so much adrenaline running through me. We were outside, and I walked through a sliding glass door that I thought was open. And single pane glass from like the 1950s shattered all around me. I had to go to the hospital. It was crazy. So I am, yes, I'm competitive, but I'm also just thrilled that I get to play the game, if that makes sense. And I will be happy, thrilled for either of my Days brothers, thrilled for Peter, or thrilled for Dom, all of whom are terrific actors. So that will not be
You won't be like running into glass trying to get.
No, I won't do that. No, my if someone else wins, my joy for them will be genuine.
Greg, thank you for coming by. Congratulations on
the
actor nomination.
Thank you.
So great.
Congrats to all the other nominees, and it's always great to see you.
We'll see you soon. All right. Bye-bye. Laura is here. Laura.
I can't believe I'm not sitting next to you helping you interview everybody.
I literally wanted to get the sippy cups for the wine.
We laugh so hard all the time. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
we mute ourselves because we didn't want to be rude to the guests. Because
we would like be pinching ourselves, like what? Like we would be
totally
dying. But Laura would bring the wine.
I would.
And we,
of course, I did. I put my glasses on so I can see your face. Hi.
And I'd be like, and every year I'd be like, "You are going to do this with me, right?" And she's like, and I was like, "Oh."
It was the year I wasn't nominated, and you were like, "Are you going to do it with me?" I'm like, "Heck Yeah, I
was
don't
like,
care about that.
I know. I was worried.
I'm so in with you. Of course I'm going to do it.
We were a good team. We are a good team.
We were. We
And
had fun.
We've been a
We had
team.
a good time.
So you are nominated for Outstanding Lead Actress,
Yeah.
and it's an incredible category. But talk to me about what reel you submitted. What is in what landed you the nomination?
Well, it's really funny because it's always so daunting and so nerve-wracking to create your reel. And I didn't want to come up with 15 minutes because the poor people that have to watch all the nominees. When I vote, I'm like, that better be the best 15 minutes of my life. Unless I could wow somebody, right? Like unless someone just didn't want to stop watching the reel, and I didn't know what that looked like. So I knew I wanted to use the Bobby stuff, but I didn't want it to be all crying. You know, the Bobby stuff was really amazing, and it was well written, and the cast that I worked with was so great. But it was kind of the same note, and you know, sad mom stuff, which is great. But I didn't want all my 9 minutes or 15 or whatever. I ended up doing 9 to be that. And then I tell you, I was getting ready to like give up and say, I give up. I don't have anything, you know. And they're like, you have everything. And I just remembered this one episode with Steve, and I said, send me this number. I mean, I was almost done. And I said, send me this number show. And it was a show with Steve where Xander Case, he thought he was free of working for the, you know, FBI. And Xander Case came and threatened him again and said he had to go back under and leave town. And it was in Jason's room. I was in a white blouse, and it was me telling him he can't go. I'm going to turn myself in, you know, for the tax stuff or the insider trading stuff. And there's no way I'm letting him leave again. And it was this back and forth between the two of us emotionally for like 4 or 5 scenes. And I was like kind of blown away by it because I remember shooting those scenes and we were so tired. It was around the Emmys last year and we were just exhausted, and they were first up. And the night before we were working until 10 o'clock. It seems to be an exhausting time around the Emmys for us. And we were just raw and available, and I fell in love with it. I loved the scene because I said this whole show outside of comedy, which is really hard to find that material or to give that, you know, to have that material. Outside of comedy, that the episode had every single thing that I am proud of who I am as an actor. You know, like we all have our strengths and what we like, right? Like, you know, everyone's different and we all have different opinions on what speaks to us when we watch art or watch actors. And this was, and I can be very critical on my work and or think it's not worthy of even being submitted, of knowing what I expect to see when I vote. I could just submit this and be proud. And be 100% proud of whether I'm nominated or not. Like, I just felt like that particular episode really, if you want to say what I do for a living and the best of what I can do, it's to me.
So there is some of the Bobby stuff and then the stuff.
There's a little bit in the beginning because I want to honor Jackie. I really wanted to honor her, and I can get really like, oh, it's so cryy, and I get like, but that's my kind of energy. It's stuff I'm working on to be more open and vulnerable as a person, or allowing. But yet, I had Katie, who plays Willow on the show. Katie was in my dressing room, and I'm like, I think I'm sending this, but I don't know if I want to cut the Bobby stuff. And she's like, oh no, please don't. It's so incredible. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I thought it'd just be too much. I don't want to again, I don't want to ask people to sit there, you know, judging and watching reel after reel of people, you know,
Cry.
Right. And also too, you know, you don't have to watch that much to know if you like someone's work or not. So I just really, and watching Katie's reaction, and I thought, oh, wow, that's so funny. She sees it different than I do. Okay. All right. You know, people love the Jackie. And I want to honor Jackie too. Like, you know, there wasn't just me crying about her. There was a flashback of me and Jackie, and that was really important to me, to have her face, you know, be in my reel and to honor her. You know, we lost her so suddenly, and not that losing anyone anyway is easy. It just, I really wanted Jackie's spirit with me, and on my reel, you know.
That's amazing. So so Stephen, you were in those scenes too?
Yep, that's it. It was me and Jackie and me and Cameron, because it was Cameron and I in the first two, me crying and him listening, him hugging, and then me and Steve. Yeah, I think Steve and I were in 4 of the scenes because they were quick, you know, scenes.
You know, when I watch him on this return, being back this time, it's all in his eyes, and he doesn't do. It's just, you see it. He's a wonderful actor and scene partner with you. I just think he really is. Do you not? Right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, you know, Steve is. It's not work with him, and it's similar to Maurice, but totally different. Meaning, got you when I step up on stage with these men. And you know, I have that with other people, but in the way I have it with the two of them, it is true family. It's trust. It's what do you need? What do we need? Maurice and I hardly ever run lines, ever. So what you see when we're on, you know, that comes out of what we do is really, and we get like one take at it. You know, we rehearse it once and get one take at it. And it's just what we do. We just kind of lean into each other. Steve and I rehearse if there's something we want to tweak, change, or if there's something we want to bring even more to it. So there's a different type of work with Steve, and I trust his opinion so much. And so it's just incredible. It's absolutely incredible working with them. And those scenes were, I mean, we were like really tired. We didn't know the night before if we were shooting them or not. There was a lot of changes going on at work that day. We didn't even know if we were working the next day, and then craziness going on. And Gary Tomlin directed them, and the 3 of us were on set, and we were like, let's just go for it. So funny that I'd forgotten about them when I was trying to come up with a show to submit. And I had tons of material. I just didn't know. It just didn't speak for, you know what I mean? I didn't feel like it spoke to my work. I don't know what, you know, where other people would have said, you have this. I mean, believe me, the producer sent me tons of material, and I'm like, you know, it just wasn't what I wanted to show of what I do.
No, but you've had years we've talked that you decided, I'm not entering. You did not feel you had anything.
Oh. I don't think, here's the thing. I don't think you should enter if you don't have the material. I don't give a I don't care who's in lead or supporting. Like, if someone had powerful material but didn't work a lot that year, but they're normally considered a lead actress and they go to supporting, who cares? Like, I don't care about any of that stuff. I think you should do you, and I should think you should do what speaks do that year as an actor. I don't think like I can only be a lead actress. I mean, if I work all the time, I get it, right? To work all the time, the material I have, it'd be crazy for me to be in supporting, but I don't think it's a step down. Like, I just think people should do whatever they want to do. And if it's that I don't want to even be there to this year because I don't have the material, that's great. And I want to honor the actresses on our show that are kicking ass and carrying the show that year. You know, I mean, that's important. They're sisters on the show.
It is a gift to watch all your hard work and dedication. You guys have all the best scenes together that move my soul. It's an honor to witness your bond. I believe.
Yes, and you know, it's really funny because there's just a deep trust. I mean, I don't even know how else to say it. He's someone that and because you know, the older we get and the life changes we go through that are gifts as well when that we get to bring to the stage with us. you know, there's a wisdom to Steve now that is different. And I hope that I carry it as well. It's so respected and honored. And he hands that right back to other people. And so I think that's also what you're seeing as well.
Do you regret that they never went there as a couple? Like they didn't go back to that?
No, because I regret that we didn't have the time when the idea came up that this is the only opportunity we could dance or play with the idea of Carly and Jason. It was when we were already had Maurice a little bit too long in Mike land. Cowboy. And so I regret that we didn't have time to let that naturally happen. Like they have to get married because of their lives are at stake, and then they kind of fall for each other. But you know, we thought Sonny was dead, and so the audience knew he wasn't. So of course that was their struggle. But we did think Sonny was dead,
right?
Yeah, I mean, so but no, because that's the final relationship. You know, it's. If you did that, you can't go back to their friendship the way it was. And if you did that and they're this forever love, how would you ever not always have them together forever, right? So I don't know. It is an incredible friendship that is so deep in love that allows to have this unique I got your back no matter what. And then it also allows for great complication in any other relationships that they have, you know.
What about,
you know, like,
what about your,
no, I was going to say, you know, like the whole Brennan thing, whew, that's going to be an interesting thing. Feel moment where her head pops off her body.
I'm waiting for that because she's going to be like, are you kidding me?
Oh.
Like, can you imagine when she finds out that her daughter shot and killed Cyrus Renault? They covered it up. She goes to become a WSB agent, and the guy she's
falling in love with
into
it's all his fault.
Falling in love with.
Well, I love when people go, how do you think Carly's going to react? I'm like, how do you think Carly's going to react? She's going to lose her shit. She is going to, I mean, and Jason's going to be like, I'm going to say, don't even say it. Don't even say I told you
Right.
so.
He told you not to. He told you not
to. And Lucas, who, by the way, are we not in love with Vans? Do we not love Vans?
I love Van. I'm so glad you guys,
and he's going to be, I told you so too.
You have Sharon Case, Eileen Davidson, Melissa Claire Egan, Nancy, Michelle Stafford at 6.
I know. That's a packed house, huh?
Close somewhere.
I'm sorry?
Right? And it must have been close somewhere for 6 to get in.
I guess. Yeah. I'm just excited. That's going to be one hell of a ladies' luncheon. That's all I kept thinking.
We were just talking about that. You're going to have
with all those amazing ladies. Are you kidding?
And it's Michelle who'll throw the luncheon.
Yes, she posted that on her Instagram. It's not always like you're like, oh shit, I won.
And so we were together when you won your first Emmy, which is your 20th anniversary of your daytime career, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was the 20th.
And that was amazing. And how would you feel if you won again?
Oh, it would be great. I mean, it would be great. And it would be an honor, and it's all those great things. But I really do feel like it's so fun to be nominated, and it's fun, especially with the ladies' luncheon. And I've already had Nancy calling me and offering to be my date if Wes doesn't want to come, you know, like it's just a fun time. And I love, I'm so excited to be with the ladies when we do that. It's interesting because I think winning is amazing, sure, and not that I wouldn't want to, but it's so subjective, and everyone's deserving. I mean, I know that sounds like so cliche, but I know how hard we work now. I know how hard I was watching Missy Claire, and she had posted a post about her long day at work and showed the script, and I remember commenting on, sister, I feel you. And I mean that, like when I sent that, this was like a couple months ago, she was like, I cannot believe the day of work I had. And I'm like, there's times I've had 4 or 5 episodes in a day. That the 4 or 5 doesn't happen all the time. but an easy 3. And I know that's with everyone. You know, that's with Nancy and Eileen and Michelle and Sharon and Missy. And I hear that. And so I just am like, I know how hard we all work, and all of our jobs are as important to us. And so it is an honor to be there. And I'm so excited for the ride, but who knows whose name's going to be pulled, you know, like.
Peter says, Soap Twitter will lose their minds if GH wins a 5th year in a row, though the show has been fantastic.
I know. Well, I understand, you know, like there are other shows and again, everyone works hard, just as hard as we do, and cares just as much as we care. But of course, I love my show. I wanted to win. I think we're fantastic. And I know how hard we work. It's, you know, and it's on fire right now. I think from the Nurses Ball on, it's just been one ball drop after another. I mean, they just have.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't stop. I mean, the things that are coming and coming and coming, I'm like, oh my God.
Before you go, they're telling me there's been sound problems, and I'm trying to identify. They're saying you and I are hearing each other fine, correct? You hear me fine.
I hear you fine.
Yeah, they're just saying that on the feed, it was going in and out. So I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, I wonder what people are doing. Because it can't be us, right?
We're not hearing it, so I'm just letting you guys know. So
this goes back to us. This is us.
Oh, it's better now. This is a Laura Wright and Michael Fairman thing.
Yeah, I haven't touched anything. This is an ancient computer. I usually use a phone or an iPad, but that always has me looking in weird directions, and I hate doing that.
So Laura, we have to figure out something so we can host something again.
I know. I would love to.
You and I, the best counterpoint.
We are. We're so good at it, and we both love doing it. Or we could just hang out and talk on Zoom with the crowd, because maybe to be respectful of the people we would assume to talk to.
All right. Well, thank you so.
Well, who do you have next? Who do you have next?
Michael Grozade. Do you want to say hi?
Sure.
Here.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to let you interview. I got to figure out how I leave. How do I leave?
I'm removing you.
I see it.
Bye, Laura.
Bye. Bye, you guys. See you
Bye.
later.
Michael.
What's going on, Michael?
I think you and I are in the same color tone. I think we're
I got the memo.
You got the memo. You got the memo.
I actually was going to put a black T-shirt on, and I'm glad I didn't.
We're all about gold here tonight. Gold. It's
yeah.
So nice.
I mean, we're supposed to be all about gold. Supposed to have that mindset, right?
So, how are you, and what did you think when you found out you were nominated today for supporting actor?
Well, I got a call from Maddie Kane, and honestly, I had to step off of the treadmill because I couldn't. There must have been something in the air because my eyes were, getting watery. I don't know what was going on.
Oh,
yeah,
that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And I was talking with some people. You're very well respected as an actor.
That should not be the case.
But it's true.
Oh, as an actor, not as a person. Oh, I understand now. Yes,
not as a person, as an actor.
As an actor, right. Yes.
So this had to be so wonderful. I mean, right? You were very
excited. Very excited. Honestly, humbled, because you never know what's going to happen with these situations. You can take a look at the material that you're submitting and be like, yeah, this is really good. And, nothing happens with it. So, first time being nominated in this category. So that's a big deal to me. Still feels like everything's new for me again, being back on the show. So that's a big deal for me. I
know. And
it's a great feeling.
So what scenes did you go with that landed you the nomination? Like, what did you decide that best showed your work?
I went through a lot. It was a lot of the material from, it was all, the storyline with her death, with my wife's death. and we went through different scenes with Matt, and Michelle Stafford actually was like, I want to see what you're sending, and let's help you figure this out. And the two of them were, so integral in whittling down what I thought I needed and what I actually needed. I wound up submitting a scene that after I had learned about Heather's death, Allison Lanier comes over, Summer, my sister, and sits with me, and I just kind of break down with her, and had a really nice, real moment there, emotional moment. And then the next scene I submitted was part of the confrontation scenes with Sharon going over to the house and, finding out the stuff that had been happening with my mother and, the stuff with Heather as well. Because when I saw them, I was like, I remembered that my phone started going nuts around the time that those scenes aired. And, not only like people were texting me being like, hey, these were really good scenes, man. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. Not thinking anything of it. And then, Instagram too, these stuff on social media, people were really commenting on them. So it's like, oh, I better go and take a look at those. And when we got to them, it's like we kind of knew immediately. It was just like figuring out which one fit best, because I didn't want to throw a bunch of scenes at them. And then a third one just for fun, just to show interaction with more people as well, was seeing Daniel interact with Nick at the hospital while my mother was there and talking about the confrontations with Sharon and whatnot. And yeah, I was very fortunate. I told Josh that this morning, just thanked him for the trust with the material and for the storyline, because had it not been written, wouldn't be sitting here with you right now.
Well, it was. I was talking to Sharon Case earlier. Did you have any idea where this was really going to go? Like, were you clued in, like, how this would play out? Like, Sharon wasn't really the one that did. Like, did you know at some point?
No, I'm completely in the dark. I'm completely in the dark all the time. Somebody was asking me about, I know this is terrible, but somebody was asking me about other storylines today. And I was just like, and they looked at me and they could tell immediately, and they were like, you don't know, do you? And I was like, honestly, if it's not part of my story, I have no idea. Unless I happen to catch something at work while I'm there, What were you saying?
I was saying, are you one of those actors? It was my page, my scene. You go through the script and you don't read anything else, right?
Essentially, yeah, unless I want to check on something. But in defense of that, if you work on another show, you do a movie, whatever, it's one and done. You get the script and it's over. This is multiple scripts every single week. It's just, I've got twin boys. I don't have time to read every single script, especially if I'm not involved in all the stuff that's going on. If things pertain to my storyline, then yeah, then I'm looking into it and I'm checking it
out. Some comments for you. Peter says, Michael's such a solid actor. Congratulations on your nomination. How does this one feel compared to your nomination almost 20 years ago?
Oh man, Peter, thank you. I don't know. Something feels a lot better about this one. Not to take anything away from it. A nomination is a nomination, obviously, but like I said, this was my first time being nominated in this category, so it feels like I've bumped up from younger actor. You've
grown up.
Yeah, exactly. I look like I've grown up too.
Debbie's like, Michael, congratulations on a well-deserved nomination.
Thank you, Debbie.
Michael, well-deserved. I met Michael to 2-7 Emmys when he was a young buck.
Oh, I hope I was respectful.
Lynn, there's a lot of like, Michael, you did such an amazing job with Heather's death storyline. I felt so bad for Daniel. It was terrible. It was really sad. It was so sad.
Yeah, not a fun place to live in here every day that you go to work, but the work felt good. So, this is like validation that we were making the right choices with that work.
Talk to me about your, relationship with Michelle Stafford, who plays, incredible on the show as your
Love
mom.
her. Absolutely love her. Absolutely adore her.
Has she in any way, like you were saying, she helped you about picking the reel? Has she influenced you in any way in your acting or in the genre in any way? Do you feel?
Of course. I mean, how can you not like working day in and day out? I am so fortunate. Like, she is a force to be reckoned with. I'll go through and I'll read scripts sometimes, and you're like, oh, I don't really know like what we're gonna do with this. And then we get there on the day, and she's just always got something interesting and fun and exciting that she brings to it. And the scenes wind up taking on a life that we didn't know was there. We didn't know was possible, and it feels good. It feels really, really good when we work together.
So do you know Taj Bello, Blake Berris, Gregory Harrison, Jonathan Jackson, your fellow nominees? Have you done any of their work or met them, or no? You're no. I don't know why I asked that to you.
I don't watch a lot of the other shows, so I'm not familiar with the work. I am familiar with the names, and I'm well aware that I'm with some heavy hitters.
Yeah, they are heavy hitters, but you are too. You are too. Well, come on.
Yes, I am now.
Yes, you are.
Well, I guess I am now.
You are now. What happened at home? Did you get any personal calls? Like, who congratulated you? Who congratulated you first, or was surprised to hear from, or happy to hear from? That wasn't like
Maddie Kane congratulated me first. Everyone. I couldn't really. My phone has told me that I'm a popular person today because and I was trying to be at work and trying to get stuff done, and I'm like, I can't respond to these texts and calls and Instagram. I need someone to do this for me.
You need to hire somebody right now.
Yeah, I need to hire someone right now.
Right now. Vale Bloom, and you really had good. She was wonderful with you actually in the show. Remember, I think we talked at one point, or talked to her. It was hard for her to see her leave. Right at that point, it was. Yeah, but it was a casualty.
She's a friend of mine too.
Yeah, and she's a casualty of the storyline, and that was hard. I was supposed to have her leave the show for you.
Well, yeah, of course. Not only in the world of the show, but in your own world as well. When you work with someone that you enjoy working with, and you have a relationship with, on a different level, because we've known each other for 20 years, something like that. When did she start on the show the first time? We were kids.
You're kids.
We were early 20s on the show. She was younger. She was younger than me.
And I met you when you were young.
Yeah. Well, I think I started the show. I think I was like 24 when I started the show. Playing a teenager, playing 16.
You were playing 16?
Playing 16.
I was like, is this guy really? This guy's not 16.
This guy seems a little too shady to be 16.
Shady dude is playing the 16-year-old. I don't think, but we bought it because you're gonna. What
so
about
immature?
So immature. What about working with Sharon? How was she to work with in these scenes?
I love working with Sharon. She's just a lot of fun and super professional, and she knows her stuff inside and out. So there's a nice juxtaposition. Everyone has their positive attributes, that I work and they're all so different and all good, which is rare when you're working someplace, in an acting environment. I mean, I've been on shows, you're surrounded by great actors, but like this specifically, man, for us to have like the amount of material that we do, and be able to deliver that's why like Michelle just blows me away. Wow, how do you do it? How do you come up with such great bits for these pieces day in and day out? And I'll look at our scenes too, and I'm like, oh man, you've got so much more to say to me. Go ahead, take your reins. I'm just back for a minute.
Michael, thank you so much. I'm so glad we got to celebrate this fantastic moment in your career. It's really,
man, thank you so
great.
much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's always great to see you, and I'm sure we will see each other soon.
All
right. Take care. Bye, Michael.
Bye.
Courtney Hope is here. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
The defending supporting actress champion.
I guess so.
You are the defender. Hi. So what was it like today when you found out you're a nominee?
I was very excited. I mean, it's cool. It's an honor. Again, after winning last year, it's very exciting. Matt Cain called me, and and then I called my family, and then my phone blew up, and I was like, but I literally ran straight to set. I had such a long day on set today.
That's the thing. We were trying to, he's like, Courtney's on set. I'm like, oh, wait, we got to have Courtney. What's going on? He's like, she's on set. So I heard you had a long day.
Yeah, I did. I was there from like 9 till noon because we had like all this montage, like all these things going on. And I'm like running around, and I couldn't have felt more like theatrical today. Just like, I'm like, I got nominated. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I won't, I'll call you back. Like, I won't forget, like hanging up my phone and running away. And then but I'm honored. I'm so excited again.
So what did you submit this time? I'm interested to know what you selected for your reel.
So I did the scenes where Billy leaves and says, you have to tell Sally because you have to be honest, and where I screamed at him and I was like, you tell me now or I'm leaving. So I did that scene, and then 2 scenes after that to kind of wrap that up of, where he's deflecting and I'm like, you made me feel like I'm crazy. And then I submitted, I think I did like 3 scenes. I was going to do 2, and then I ended up adding a 3rd from there. And then I did 1 scene with Billy and Sally on the year anniversary of Ava's death when Adam forgot, and she's confiding in Billy. So those are the scenes that I submitted.
Those are great. I'm so glad you reminded me because I remember that showdown.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh
it
God.
Was crazy. When I watched that back, I don't think I've ever been that mad in my real life. Like, I'm more like, let's talk about, I've been mad before, but I was like, let's talk it through. I was like shaking, and even Mark afterwards, he looked at me, he was like, whoa, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I don't think I've ever done that before. Like, I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so angry right now.
So for people that don't know about that story a little bit, there was the betrayal in there, right? So she was just.
It was constant deflection too, and constant gaslighting. I think that was the biggest thing. Is it was like a pressure cooker that just kept like expanding of, oh, did you do this? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Please, Adam, tell me one last time. No, I didn't. And then when that happened, and I think deep down Sally knew, but like once that moment hit, it was like everything built up. And also too, like given Sally's past, to move in with someone, to care about someone, it's like that happens to her all the time, right? It's like they end up being with some other girl. So it was another one of those, like, again, especially with this guy that I was like so convicted in being with. So yeah, they were fun. I enjoyed them. I was a little like, I had to have a talk with myself, like, hey, Courtney, it's okay to like be ugly in these scenes. Like it's meaning like really be angry and just like, don't censor, like allow yourself to just be betrayed and be there fully. Cause I think sometimes I don't know, maybe it's me and like the people pleaser when I was younger, you know, thing that kind of crept in and was like, well, you know, you could be mad, but like, let's talk it through. And then I'm like, no, man, like, this is not about you. This is about this. And just, we're going to go for it.
I thought it was great because I kind of feel like I would have done the same thing. Yeah. I mean, I would explode. It was so, she knew. I felt she knew.
Yeah.
Right? She knew he was lying.
And it's also like that, stop disrespecting me. You're literally lying to my face. And that was what was most important. And I actually had a couple people message me, and it was funny. Like a friend of mine had gone through this, like, unfortunately for her, they're okay now, but something in her life. And she called me and she was like, thank you so much. She's like, because I reacted this way and I felt really bad. But like seeing that, I was like, oh no, like I was allowed to behave this way in this situation. I'm like, oh good. I'm glad that you were able to feel like that. But it's true. You know, I mean, it's betrayal's hard. And I really wanted to do it, you know, some due diligence.
Karma Chameleon says the way it kind of paralleled their first breakup when he was lying about why he was breaking up with her triggered me as an Allie fan. Lots of yeah.
Yes. Triggered the heck out of a lot of people, including Sally. Like, we've been here before, not again. Like, it's like that, like, fool me once, you know, fool me twice thing. So.
You are nominated in a group with Linsey Godfrey, weren't you nominated last year with her too?
Yes. Yeah.
Kate Manzi for General Hospital, you know, Emily O'Brien from Days of Our Lives, and Susan Walters.
I know. I love every single woman in this category. They are incredible. Powerhouse women. I say it all the time, and I know that people like say that as a generic term, but I truly, truly mean it. Each one of these women are incredible. I'm inspired by their work, and I'm honored to be nominated next to them.
Were you a judge this year or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I was. So do you want me to elaborate? I had lead actor and guest. So, you know, it's interesting because you get to see, like, I saw some of Linsey's work because of, you know, the lead who she submitted, like in some of those scenes, she was in them. I saw Kate and I are friends. And so I know when the whole like baby thing happened, I was watching it on TV because I was like, girl, this is fantastic. Like, I've been a fan of her since she was on Days of Our Lives.
It's incredible. We had communicated earlier today and she couldn't make it, but you know, those scenes she's laying on the grave of the.
I cannot. I mean, I was a mess watching them, and I love her. I think Susan is incredible. Linsey Godfrey's wonderful, as I mentioned. Emily O'Brien. I mean,
it's a good group. It's a really good group. Sometimes they're not always the greatest group, and I think this is a good group.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, it's an honor.
When you watch being somebody who's voting or judging, what do you look for in an acting performance that rings true for you? Do you note in the first minute or two of their reel if it's something that you think?
Know, I used to say that, but I have seen reels before where there's something about like, I don't know, like I've seen a reel. In fact, this last year, I was watching a reel in lead actor where I thought it was great, but then something about like minute 4, I just like couldn't take my eyes off of it. And then I see other ones where I'm like, oh, absolutely. But I think for me, what I look for is the real human moments. Like, I think you can tell when there is authenticity throughout, right? Where there's nuance and experience, there is so many different layers. And I just look for something where I can't take my eyes away from them. I mean, you know, and in our medium there's a lot of really heavy hitters. And so, you know, I'm glued to the nomination reels.
Right. I mean, do you know when somebody's like phoning it in, or do you never see that?
It's rare. Like I said, I feel like we have heavy hitters in this, especially with the 4 soaps, you know, now left. But I could tell. Yeah. I mean, I think just anyone, you know, I can see, I think also too, it's like technically, right? Like certain people, not people in general, like calling people out, but I feel like as actors, there's like certain tells and certain things you do. I always joke, it's like Friends, you know, where it's like the smell the fart acting that like Joey does, where he doesn't know his line and he kind of like looks off like he's like confused until it comes back and he comes back.
Right,
Not
right.
that dramatically, but I feel like as an actor, sometimes you could be like, but sometimes if they forget, it just like works into the scene. If they forget, you never know. Like I've literally worked across from someone and the actor's been like, I had no idea what I was going to say. And I was like, it actually didn't come across that way. You know, like it just came across. You did, you know, I believed it. I'm standing right in front of you. So
what was it like? We had talked at the Emmys, but what was it like, you know, a few days after winning your Emmy? Like, what was it like? Was it like anticlimactic? Did you feel that, like, you know, it's so up there and there's so much, oh my God, I don't know what it's like, so I'm wondering, I'm living through you, what is it like?
Well, I mean, yes and no. I think you go back to your regular life, you know, so it's like you have that moment, but then all of a sudden it's like, okay, back to work, you know, back to feeding my dogs, back to going to the gym, back to like, you know, run your list. But then, you know, I would take moments and like sit and be like, I cannot believe it. Especially like I've wanted to do this since I was a kid. I moved out here when I was 14. And so like having those moments of like, wow, I can't believe. I mean, I think back to all the nights when like I wouldn't have a full dinner because I knew I had to pay for acting class. You know what I mean? Like those nights where I was like scraping by multiple jobs, you know, burning myself, you know, burning the candle on both ends. And I'm like, so I think that's where the moments of gratitude came in, where I'd be like, you know, just sitting there realizing what just happened. You know, I'm not going to take it for granted. So, but at the same time, you know, then it's like, okay, back to work, back to my job. I want to do good. You know, I'm always my biggest competitor. So,
now with Sally now, what do you think? Like, do you think coming up, is she going to be the same Sally we know? Or do you see her being, you don't think she'll turn back to being even edgy or
Sally? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you know, the way she's Billy, maybe. I don't know. I love both sides of Sally. I've loved seeing Sally evolve. I've loved seeing her, experiencing her mature, I guess is the best way of saying it. But I also love that, throwback to the original, my great aunt Sally Spectra, right? Darlene Connolly and her little like conniving, mysterious ways. Like I love that. I think that's ingrained innately in who she is. But I love this side of her too. It's fun. You know, as an actor, I love to play it all. So I wouldn't mind.
And Y&R got 19 nominations today, led the pack of every show.
I know.
I mean, there's a lot of nominees, and we've had years where not so many. This is there's a lot of Y&R.
Yeah.
Do you think 2024 was a banner year, a good year for the show? Would you say?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think just by saying what you just said, yeah, absolutely. I think too, what was really cool, and I was talking to Josh Griffith today, I actually called him to tell him this, like when I was looking at, when you look at all the actors and actresses that were nominated, the variety of storyline, like the variety of stories that were nominated, you have like a DID storyline and, a OCD and, a PTSD, like all these things. And I just said how cool it is for all of us to be able to have the honor of being able to tell those stories. And I think for Y&R, it was a really fleshed out year for stories. So
just on your notes, remember on B&B when Courtney and Jacqueline went at it on their characters?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. I love those moments.
Doesn't Queen Stuffy go after everybody? Like,
yes, exactly. But I will say it's funny thinking back because Sally definitely pushed her buttons a lot.
Terribly pushed her
buttons. Sometimes unnecessarily. Like she didn't need to do that. Just relax, Sally. Come back. Like reel it in. But it was fun. Oh my gosh, I loved it. All the cake fights. Yeah.
Do you think that she will ever, but I guess it would give you more Emmy material for the following years. Do you think she'll ever just be happy in love and things will work out for her? I don't think so. I feel like Sally's always going to be on the short end of the stick. I don't know.
I agree. It's funny. It's like she wants what she didn't have, but yet she's manifesting what she had. Like, she's like, I don't want to have the life where, I want someone to love me so much. But then within that, it's like, I think there's a deep-seated belief that she's still unworthy of love. And I think until she heals that, which I don't know if she ever will, then I don't know. I mean, I think, she's going to be the one that's like, maybe this guy, and then, it's like Cinderella trying to find her slippers. She's so hopeful for all of them, but
now comes the time. I know you're great with fashion, so you're gonna have to pick a dress and something to wear to the Emmys. So is that, I think we've talked about, is that fun or is it nerve-wracking?
No, it's super fun. I love it. Last year, I chose something, not me. Like that, I went totally into the spectrum of what I would normally do. It kind of was an accident because I had a bunch of dresses from the stylist and none of them were really what I wanted, but that one was the best one. I ended up really liking it. Like, I think it was great. It was a great choice. This year, I think I would go a little bit more closer to my own style. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited. My mom called me today and she was like, can I go? She went with me last year. She's like, do I get to go again and pick out dresses? I'm like, if you want, she's excited. So
does it feel like, pressure?
To get the right dress?
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, I think it's less pressure now. I think when I was younger, I was more pressured to make sure I wanted to have a specific look. And then, you're going to be photographed and I want to make sure that, I fit in with or whatever it is. And now it's like, I just want to be comfortable. I want to be comfortable. I want to feel confident and I want to be able to move. Because I love to dance at the after party.
You do love to dance the after party. We're good, and I love dancing with you.
Yeah, me too. I love it. Can't wait.
We both have rhythm.
Yes, yeah, it's just fun. I mean, you got to let it all out. Let it have fun. Yes, we'll have to dance this year.
So you, when you look at all the scenes you've done over the years now as on Y&R, I'm assuming the baby storyline is still your top one or not really, or is it like?
Yeah, I mean, I think just what went into that story, the responsibility of it was so weighted for me. I would definitely say that it also was so long, that story. I think also too, I thought Sally was going to have the baby and it was kind of thrown last minute that Sally wasn't going to have the baby. I mean, we don't know what's being written, but I didn't know that wasn't going to happen. And so I think it was just this, I don't know, this really heavy crash and burn. And I think with this story, with Adam, it's well, I'm sure at some point it's going to crash and burn. I was kind of planning, in my mind, this might happen at some point, but I didn't expect it to happen the way that it did. So I loved this one too. I loved Adam and Sally. I love their dynamic. So this was it was fun too. I've been very pleased with the storylines that I've had on Y&R.
And talk to me before I let you go with Jason and Mark. What do you think of each of them as a scene partner?
I think they're both fantastic. First of all, I think they're both fantastic actors. I love working with them. It's so easy. It doesn't feel like work for me at all. I love them. They both have really great choices. They both have really wonderful work ethic. They know their scenes. They come to set. They're professional, but also they're fun. They're not too rigid. We can play around with things. And yeah, it's just been wonderful. And obviously lately working with Jason, I trust him implicitly. Oh.
Sorry. You said you trusted him implicitly.
I just said working now with Jason, I trust him implicitly in his choices. And, if he has suggestions or vice versa, we really respect each other in that. So it's been fun.
Love the friendship between Sally and Audra.
Yes, me too. I like that Sally has a friend. I like that anyone has a friend on a
show. Has a friend.
No one ever has friends. No, I love it too. I love it because I feel like Audra's spicy side is Sally, past Sally. And so she can speak wisdom. But at the same time, I think Audra is slowly but surely learning that Sally has that side too. So that's been fun to watch that develop.
All right, Courtney, it's been wonderful to have you, and congratulations again, and well deserved. I love that you submitted those scenes. I remember them very clearly.
Yeah.
And I'll see you, if not before
Yes.
October, sooner.
October. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you again. Have a good night.
Bye-bye. Hey, everybody. I hear your comments there about some of the GH cast could not make it. There were various reasons. Obviously, the nominations came out today, and a lot of people were either unavailable or were not in Los Angeles, or were flying around. There's a lot of different reasons for them. We may have a couple more on tonight by the end of the show. But as you know, it's all kind of, I put this together with very little time once the nominations come out to bring you guys the nomination show. So just so you know, I see a lot of you asking that in the chat. I'm going to check one thing. And what did you think of the nominations today, everybody, while we're waiting for our next guest? Were you happy with them, or what do you think? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you saying that. I think, we see sometimes a lot of stuff in the chat, and you have to remember we all work really, really hard to bring you this, and everyone's giving their time tonight so we can celebrate the Emmys. Yes, so proud of Daytime. Yes. Okay. Hold on. Susan?
Hi.
Hi. We're just a little, I know it's a little early. I know we've got a little lineup change.
No, that's fine. You know what? I was hoping I wasn't interrupting your program by my little head being at the bottom there. I didn't know if you could see it. Okay, good. And
no. Is your husband there?
Yes, my better half is just about to sit down.
Hang on, I'm trying to do something.
Okay. Well, we surprised you by coming on just a bit early. We had to do a switch.
That's fine. It's great because I'm a little technically challenged, so I made sure to log on super early.
I know people don't understand. It's like this virtual situation, while it should be great, there are little hitches if you're not all like in the same.
Good. I think it's fine. Well, I don't have Chrome, so I figured all that out. So I'm feeling very proud of myself.
Whoa.
It's
hi.
Hi.
Hold on.
That's way too much light.
Hold
Our
on.
little house is so dark in this corner. We're good. I think you should
hang on. Let's see.
People.
How's that?
No.
How's that?
No.
How's
No.
that? How's that?
This is the story of our marriage.
Yeah.
Can I just do this the entire time?
When they came on, the whole show went so funny.
Oh my God! You're on camera, Lyndon. Turn it on.
Wait, Lyndon, that's better right now.
Oh
This is
wait.
fine.
That
Not
No.
that.
the lighter one.
Okay, the light.
Okay, hold on.
We're in our dark little house.
How's that?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
That's good?
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel handsome.
You are handsome. Thank you guys for being here.
Ruined your whole show. Thank you for having us.
Isn't this a first? Have you guys ever been nominated together for anything, or
No, I don't
No.
the same award?
I've never been nominated for
This
anything.
has never been nominated, right?
And Lyndon was nominated last year.
Lyndon and
So
I talked
I
last
I got nominated for a thing called a Saturn
right.
Award at some
I've been
point.
the wife of a couple times.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
that was tough. I was up against like Ed Harris and and it was like, oh shit, I lost.
Wait, were you up against Dick Van Dyke last year?
Well, I was about to
Yes,
say something,
yes,
but I
I
didn't want to
was.
bring it up.
I don't think it would have mattered. Like, Dick was actually, by the way, great.
He was. He is.
He is great. Even like it was great, but you also like him. Like how it's Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah. First of all, you're not going to win. Second of all, would you want to win?
That's right.
Right.
No, you'd be like, no.
He's a Malibuian where we live, and he's
Yeah,
a
so
lovely man.
He's a
Lovely
great
man.
guy.
So I had Peter Bergman on earlier to kick off the show.
Aw.
And he said one of the
You know him,
biggest
right?
delights for Peter Bergman. He said he is so incredibly delighted that you got nominated, Susan.
Yes, he's so generous that way. So
I'm
generous.
delighted that Susan got nominated. I look, I'm thrilled to get nominated, but it's
You're so
way
nice.
better for me. It's just I'm tickled. I'm really
I feel the
so
same for him.
happy and proud of her, and she deserves it so much.
Thank you.
And I spoke with Sharon Case earlier, of
Wow.
course,
I'm
Who
so proud of her too, and
who
happy.
absolutely adores you, as you know, as a scene partner, and was like, he's in my reel. And we know that the bloodstained shirt and her through the incredible, right?
Wait a sec. So she just adores me as a scene partner?
She doesn't like you as a person, but she likes you as
That happens.
Sometimes those are the best partners. Those are the best scene partners.
So, Mike, did you since you're married and together and both actors and Weinart, did you guys help pick each other's reel? Did you run it by each other? How did we get to the decision?
Oh yeah, no, I always run every.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh my God, it's so funny because last year our daughter Savannah, who's 32, and she's in the business also. We were the ultimate stage mothers with his reel last year. So, and we did a really good job. So he kind of let us take it over again this year. It's really hard to judge your own work, because sometimes you remember a feeling in a scene or a moment that just felt so great, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right one for the reel. Maybe. I guess there's a whole art to it.
There is, and it's hard, and it's I think I was directing when we were doing the submissions for these. So I was doing a movie, and I was kind of like,
here. He's
go
like,
ahead,
I
do
like
it.
these, and we were like, no, these.
Yeah.
So Susan, what were the scenes that were on your reel that landed you the nomination?
Sometimes you think you have big scenes somewhere here and there, and actually the first scene on my reel is a scene with Michael Mueller, and it was just one of those scenes in the middle of the script, in the middle of talking about business, my character goes from here to there, and it was just a quick fight in the middle of the living room. So it wasn't big day, you know what I'm saying? But it was really really hard for me to do. It was really hard as a mother to have that scene. So it just kind of worked out. And Michael's so lovely, and he really touches something in me, and it just worked out. So I had that one, and then I had a couple scenes with Peter, of course, because we had so much.
Was Peter any good?
Yeah. With Peter, you just try to hang on, right? And they were great. It was after he popped the pills, and Diane is finding out about it. And that was really fun. And Lyndon worked with me on those scenes so much. So it was really helpful. And then I had another scene with Michael at the end. So it was my
Those
guy.
are good. I remember those. Those are really excellent choices.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay. Lyndon, what's on your reel?
I went through and found stuff that I liked for different reasons, and Susan said that it was good choices as well, and Savannah said it was good choices, and Matt Cain said it was good choices.
I know, like,
so
Matt,
I don't know, man. I've had so much fun these past couple of years with this character, and Sharon's, a huge part of that. And Susan, I literally could not have done it without her.
Well,
I wouldn't. I mean, she had to talk me off a ledge. It was like, a week of
no, I didn't.
30 something page monologues, basically. And I'm like, this isn't fun. I don't want to do this.
This isn't fun, because the first time he came on, he kind of came on for 10 episodes, and the really hard days, he was kind of, you were leading the scene, you had the most of the dialogue. Right. And then I was able to talk him off the ledge that he talked me off of my first summer, where all of a sudden you have so much material to do, you know, and it's back and forth and back and forth. And it's a hard medium.
Look, we've been doing this a long time, and I can tell you that it
longer
is
than the women I'm up against have been alive. Sorry, I had to say it. Like I could be their mother.
But I don't know if they really, you know, you were on Loving.
yeah.
I knew you as Lorna on Loving.
Me too.
I know you did.
Curtis. They weren't even alive. They weren't alive then.
No, like I remember. No.
I know.
So Lyndon, they were hard scenes. You're saying because you were always torturing Sharon, but you were the
no, that was easy.
No, that part's different.
Yeah. I'd like take right before the scene. I'd like take her arm and go like this. Indian rope burn. And it's a ton of material, and it's so much different than any other
single
medium that you do in this business. It's like you just ingest so much, and then you get one shot at it, sort of, maybe two if you're lucky, and you finish and you're kind of like shell shocked, and you walk past the garbage can on the way out of the stage, and you throw the script away, and then you get ready to do it again tomorrow. And these guys are so used to it, and Sharon, and they've been Josh, they've been doing it for so long, and they're so good at it.
Like I can't watch the monitor in my dressing room, and I've been on the show for over 3 years because I get so intimidated by how flawless everybody just does their take.
This
thing,
even
if it's like this in rehearsal,
that looks effortless and it looks easy, and it's so hard.
It's hard.
It's really, really tough, and it's tough to do it, and then it's really hard to be good at it. And these guys are so good, and you know, it's just
we're really. I mean, you're not on the, you know, for his time on the show, and then I say for myself for the last 3.5 years. You know, I've worked with a lot of talented actors, but I have to say, to be able to go off to work every day and work with people who are so talented it's intimidating, but it's also so rewarding. I mean, I have to say, there are not many people I've worked with in the last 40 years that it's more than that, actually. I'm shaving 8 years off in that amount of time that could make it through the day.
Well, you know what?
At YNR.
You know what I miss is I miss that when we started, everybody did soaps.
Yeah.
It's how you started. It's how you cut your teeth. It's you learn to learn lines. You learn to memorize. You learn to show up. You learn to work in front of a camera. You learn to be a professional because there's no time not to be. There's no time for drama. I mean, you know, when we were on soaps, it was, you know, Bryan Cranston was there. It was Luke Perry, Edie Falco,
really
Kevin
fun.
Bacon, Alec Baldwin, everyone. Mel or what's her name from Kim's show? Meg Ryan. It's like Demi Moore. You started in soaps. That's where you started, and you could choose to stay there. And it was. I never got that opportunity because I just got fired. But I did.
But you, Lyndon, I wasn't there. You were like, for them to get you back when this initial coming back as Cameron, when you came back, weren't you kind of on the fence if you'd want to do it again? If I remember,
I was for the first time back, right?
Yeah.
I had a movie, and then I had a directing thing lined up after that, and I had a tiny window, and Josh was like, "Okay, we'll make it work," and they did. And then they asked me if I wanted to do this, and I had a longer window, and it
was really fun.
It went on longer than I thought it was, but I was really happy.
It was fun for me too to be able to, you know, pay back, in a way, or be able to run lines with him all the time. Because my character was pretty light when he was so heavy this last time with Sharon during that time frame. And because he has literally run lines with me for almost every single show, except for when he's out of town directing himself that I've done on Y&R. So it was really,
he plays Jack and he plays Kyle.
well.
Oh, I'm good.
You should see. And he plays a mean Nikki.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
he's so sassy as Nikki.
I'm pretty good at Phyllis too.
Oh, he's good at
you're
all.
good at Phyllis? She's coming up next.
Oh, yeah. Great. Oh, my God. That's so great. Yeah. He's
I'm good at Billy's my favorite.
because he plays a smart Alex.
What's really interesting? So, Cansing, I need Susan and Linda to host a podcast or something.
No way. We want to do it with you.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is more fun.
Yeah.
Because
You're better
you're
at this.
steering us in the right
I can
direction.
see
We did it together.
You know what's interesting about that? I was talking about this with Greg Rikaart Onlier, who's now hosting that Soapy podcast. But I always think people don't realize it is not easy if you don't know how to interview and direct people in an interview. No. Because you can literally get, certain actors that think they're interviewers that really don't know how to steer it. And you kind of watch it go, right?
Yeah.
It's kind
Speaking of Greg Rikaart, I have to tell you, one of my first months on the show, it's so fun that he's nominated, is that just these people give you little nuggets all along the way, right? And we had this wedding scene, and then at the very end, he had like a 1.5-page monologue, and this was at the 12th hour, and he hadn't had to say anything all day. And I looked at him, I'm like, how are you going to do that? Like, how do you just remember that? And he goes, you do. He goes, you kind of get adrenaline because it's your training. You'll remember it. You can do it. And sometimes I think about that. Like, he gave me that, and he just flawless did it. It's crazy what we do. It's crazy.
How many months or weeks were you in the bloody shirt?
It didn't bother me because it's like I was on Teen Wolf. I pretty much wore the same outfit for 6-7 years, something like that. And then like Mortal Kombat, I wore that outfit the entire movie. I love it. You show up, you put your uniform on, you go to work. It didn't bother me, and it didn't really get gamey.
He's a cool customer. He's so relaxed. I'm in there like so nervous before my scenes. He's like, yeah.
Isn't maybe that's the opposites attract in real life, right? It's always like that, right? I think that's.
I don't know, man. She's selling a good story. A long time ago, a good friend of mine told me to be like a duck. He goes, be a duck. On the surface in the water, you just see this duck swimming around, and then underneath the water, its little feet are going like this, but nobody gets to see that. He goes, don't let them see your feet.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of that. So it is opposites.
Just make it look easy.
But we're so excited because last year I loved being his date, and so now this year we get to be each other's dates.
It's so great. Well, he gets to be your date.
I'm like I'm your side piece.
You're Mr. Diane Jenkins, as King calls you.
So great.
I'm her streetwear this year.
That's right.
Now, is getting the dress a thing for you?
No, it's not that hard. I just go through Susan's closet.
He's already tried them all on. His shoes are a little tight. If only my legs were that shapely.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so glad we got to spend some time.
Honey, get out of my dress.
Oh, my dress.
Wait a minute. The zipper's stuck.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It is I'm the kind where there's a costume designer from Bold and the Beautiful who used to be on Y&R. And she said the funniest thing was 2 months after I had gone to the Emmys in like 2001, I was still shopping for the dress. Right. So yes, it will be a lot harder for me than it will be for him. He'll just pull out the tux at some point and he'll just assume it fits.
It's the best thing.
He's like, it'll fit. I'm like, well, do you know it'll fit? Yeah, it'll fit.
I think you need to follow your journey from the house to the carpet, document the whole thing. I think this is going to be a thing.
No,
think-
you
you think?
well, really quickly last year there was a journey because he was flying in from Fiji and was nominated and had to find the hotel and the parking garage and everything else. It like took a village to get him on the red
and then there
carpet.
was no place where I could park my car.
Yeah, that was crazy. So,
so-
yeah, it was a journey.
It was.
I'll be a little more pulled together.
And she all I remember is she's like, get dressed. And she goes, here, put on this powder. You're really red. Which is nice about wearing a tuck because it kind of tucks, it sort of neutralizes everything. It doesn't,
Well, I can't wait to see what you wear. It was so great to see you both.
To talk
I'll be wearing Chanel.
Congratulations.
Wait, tell me how we can stay on because I was able to see earlier. If you get rid of us, we can still watch, right?
Yes, or you can go to the live link.
Oh,
that's
that's not there.
link, which I put, which is in the email you got.
Perfect.
Okay, you know what? We might do that though. I may wear a dress and she may wear a
Stop.
tuxedo.
He's kidding. All right, nice to see you again.
Bye. Congratulations.
Bye. Hey, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Michelle,
I love the Ashbys.
Ashbys are amazing, right?
They're my favorite couple. Do I look all glowy?
You're glowy.
I know.
I
It's
kind of
very-
like it. No?
Wait, I'm going to clean the lens
No.
because I think that's what it is. Is it better?
A little bit, but you look great.
Okay. How
Wait.
are you?
How are you, Emmy nominee?
I'm so good. First of all, let me just tell you something. I watched Susan and she was talking about a reel and she's being really very, very humble because that first scene that she had with Peter, and I don't think anybody will mind. It's not a hit on the writing, but it was written very like, woe is me, woe is me. And I remember she and I were talking about it. She's like, no, Diane would be pissed. She'd be mad. What the fuck are you doing? But taking drugs. And she really, listen, nothing wrong with the dialogue. It's not a hit on the dialogue, but the dialogue was a little bit like, oh my God, you hurt. And she played it. She didn't change a line. But she played it like how, and did the whole thing of like, how dare you ruin your life? And she's like justicing with Peter, but she really killed the scene. Anyways,
I have to say, I think the most exciting thing of this, not only that you're nominated again, and congratulations.
Thank you.
You're hosting the ladies' lunch because you're the defending champ.
Oh, I'm saving some money.
I know, saving the money because some of the ladies were like, who's going to do the lunch? Michelle. And they're
I know. That they've already said, I don't know if you saw my post, but I was like, please, not top shelf tequila, girls. House tequila, please.
House tequila.
Yeah, I mean, Eileen has already told me I'm expecting a nice place. So
you are you gonna have to level up?
I'm going to have to. And I think I might just keep it to our group. Only be like, Jackie was so lovely last year inviting, and I couldn't go last year. And I was so bummed, but inviting like almost every woman in Daytime. She was so incredible. And I may not do that, but we'll see.
Talk to me about what you submitted this year. What was on your reel? And obviously you were proud of those scenes that
I was just looking to see if I saw what was on my reel. Oh, yes. Well, the whole, I think it was like from June to the end of the year last year, we were playing the Sharon is off storyline. I remember starting to film that stuff in like at the end of May, right? And which turned in, of course, to the murdering of Heather, right? And so within that storyline is where I chose. And it was funny because I don't watch my performance every day and or the show every day, and I'm like, whoa, I I was screaming most of the time. But it was really like, I loved the element of it, of a woman, you know, like a mother faced with an unjust situation against her kid. You know,
There was that wonderful standalone episode too. Was that that at all?
No, because it doesn't really work.
Doesn't work and out of context is what you're
It
saying.
doesn't. It doesn't. No, it doesn't work to submit anything. But I really liked it too, and I loved how we ended it.
The ending is
even of like, I will fight for you. Makes me cry.
Made me cry.
You know, I'm a crier, Michael. You know,
Michelle, but I remember that airing, and I wrote a whole thing about it because of all the standalone episodes. I was most moved by yours.
You had said that. That's very sweet.
No, I mean the truth. I remember crying like the whole ending was so like, oh, because she admitted she had done all these terrible, not so great things in her life.
Yeah.
But then she's got these children. And
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, it has its children. And I do like that. I do like that about Phyllis, about the character. I like that she will fight for her children. Even if they're wrong. I mean, she'd fight for them. So I really did love the element. I was looking, you know, when I was submitting, because I wasn't sure if I really had anything. But when I was submitting, I was like, Graz, do we have any scene between the two of us where we're just talking about how horrific this is? And there wasn't one. It really sucked. And so, because I really wanted to get an element of like how this affects a parent. So many parents are put in this position of, you know, injustice. And I really tried to tap into that in the world, you know, and how I had unfortunately gone to Twitter yesterday. When I post, it's okay. Shoot, I'm okay if someone's not a fan of mine or someone doesn't. I'm okay with it. So, but someone said she was just screaming the whole time. And I thought, God, that's a really interesting. I would have to agree with that, you know, but at the same time, wouldn't we? You know, wouldn't we? How many parents sit there and have to deal with injustice with their family and, you know, have to keep quiet? I mean, I wonder how many moments that they have in their life before the situation has beaten them down, that they, you know, want to scream, you know, and I loved how they wrote it, that nobody believed Phyllis.
No one believed Phyllis. No
yeah.
one.
And there's so much history that in Phyllis's mind, Sharon has gotten away with everything. And they added that element to it. And, you know, yeah. And that's why I loved what we did this year with Sharon and Phyllis having to come together, because I thought, how are we going to fix this? There's no way Phyllis is ever going to want to be in a room with Sharon. And they did fix it. And they fixed it really well, that the two of them had to come to terms with each other. And now I play Phyllis loves Sharon.
They can't last. They won't let that last. But you make a really good point about, you would scream. You would be, it's like the injustice of it all that
yes,
that nobody else is seeing.
Absolutely.
Mind, right?
And so many times you would have to not scream because you're just gonna, you know, I mean, I've been in hospitals where something was not being done correctly to a family member, and I've had to be like, excuse me, please. Like, I want to go, what the fuck are you doing? You know, and how dare you talk to him? Like, but you can't, you know? So I tried to add that element into it. I feel like I did a little bit with Connor, but there were shows right after the car accident where Phyllis was, you know, still they realized it was Sharon who did it, and then Phyllis is losing her mind.
Yep.
But I did want to touch on how That was just really important to me to touch on the injustice of it all, and knowing that so many people in the world deal with that.
You know, was it ever, you won last year, which was amazing. And is it weird? Like, do you like, oh, I won last year, I won't submit? Or do you go by, if you feel you have the material, you will submit?
You know what? I did think that.
Okay.
Actually, the whole year I thought that. The whole year I was like, oh, I'm not going to submit. And, you know, it wasn't really my story and all these things. Then I'm like, well, let me see what I have, you know? And so I you know what, I thought it was decent to submit. And then also at the same time, there's so few shows, you know, it's a different game than it was back in the day.
When we had 15 shows, right? We had all
Yeah.
these
You know, it's like, throw your hat in the ring. If it doesn't happen, and that's what I tell other people on the show. I'm like, throw your hat in the ring. You know, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It doesn't mean you weren't good. It means you didn't get the majority vote. It's, you know, like, it's not, you know, I don't think we should all take it so seriously.
Michael Grossaday told me earlier when he was on, he was very moved by being nominated.
Yeah.
And that you really helped him.
I did.
He said he listened to Michelle. So you must have good Emmy karma. But he said you gave him some help with the reel.
Yeah.
And he listened to you, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, you have to be really objective and you with your reel, and you have to put shows together that support each other and strengthen each other. And I think I know that some actors on other shows, I just know this, that they're not part of their reel. They let producers do it. That's fine. I mean, I have no judgment of that. I like to put mine together because I feel like I just like to. And I think most of the actors on our show prefer to put it together. We prefer to have that kind of control, because then if it's not a nomination, you know, it's fully our responsibility. And you go, okay, well, I know I gave it my best shot.
Do you have fun finding a dress to wear, or is it not fun?
Oh no, it's totally fun.
I mean, you're always like, you always have got an amazing dress.
Oh, really? That's nice.
I do believe you do change your look every year. Like, there's a different kind of vibe going on.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Oh,
Right.
wow. Thanks. I mean, you gotta change it up, right? No, but I have so much fun. Hey, listen, Michael, this is the deal. I had a long conversation with Nancy today. Okay. And these are the jewels of life, you know? And I think I've had this conversation with Finola, and I think sometimes age and just living life can make you realize this. And, you know, experiencing not great times, you know, and these are the jewels of life, man. And one day I'm going to be sitting on my porch in a diaper drooling, and I'm going to remember these moments. And I think that sometimes people do remember the moments that they took too seriously, or that they got their feelings hurt unnecessarily, or, you know, like, it is the game of life. And what a beautiful thing to be acknowledged by your peers. I mean, we've already won. I know I sound like a Girl Scout, but, you know, we have we're invited guests to the party. What a great thing. It's going to be a lovely night. I mean, what a wonderful thing in life. This does not happen to everyone living on the planet.
You know, you make such a beautiful point, because I do agree with you. It's about taking those moments, because so much of life, I mean, I do it too. It's like, oh God, you know, there's so much, you know, and then something nice happens, and you should cherish it and have fun with it. And instead of like
stressing, or, you know, when I was younger, I'd stress, am I going to win? Am I not? What kind of face should I put on? You know, like, who cares? And also, like, we gotta strengthen the rightnesses of life, not the wrongnesses of life. Right. So if something great happens, man, like fall into it. What an incredible thing. Also, it's incredible to work as an actor. It's just how fortunate. I have so many friends who are great actors, great actors. They're not working. It's a tough time in the industry right now. And what a great thing. And not only that, we get to go to work with people we enjoy. We get to play a role we enjoy. Like, damn, this is a great time in life.
Michelle, I love you so much. Thank you so much.
I love you, Michael.
Michelle, I love that you're nominated and that I love everything you say. I so agree. I feel you.
Right. I know you see it. I know.
I feel you. So I'll see you hopefully before the Emmys.
Okay, hopefully.
I'll see you at the Emmys, and have a wonderful night. Congratulations again. Thank you. So much. All right. Bye-bye. All righty. Hello.
Hello, Michael.
Linsey Godfrey from Daytime Live. Thank you both for coming to the party.
Thanks for having us.
We're kicking off the nominations, and congratulations, Paul Telfer, lead actor. I called it.
Me too. Me too.
Godfrey, supporting actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was a surprise, genuinely.
Yeah, Linsey was really poo-pooing it this year.
I was like, I don't think it's happening this year. I really like it, but I'm just gonna submit it because I really liked it, but I don't think it's happening. And when Andrea NPR came to tell me this morning, she literally opened my door and she was like, "And you thought you weren't gonna." And I was like, "Did I?"
So, Paul, did you guys run each other? Did you? I think you're each other.
I like when it comes to the Emmys, like I very much trust Linsey's divinations and her experience and her taste. So I ran it all by her. Like I think I ran it by Linsey before I showed it even to Carmen. Like I just need to make sure, because in the past I feel like I've always submitted too much. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's 15 minutes. Because you feel like you're trying to represent a whole year of work, and you're not. You're just trying to pick a couple of good bits that show what you're about, and that, you know, rather than trying to be like, look at all the most acting, you just want to show your best acting.
Well, and to that point, because I was talking to a lot of the nominees tonight, a lot of the actors, you don't want to be too long. Because that's a no from what I understand.
Yeah, the shorter the better.
Like get in, get out.
Because they kind of changed it where you have to watch, I think 50% of each video before you can vote. So obviously, the longer your video is, the longer it takes them to get to that 50%, and you might just be annoying. Like, so, you know, at a certain point they're like, well, you were a 6, but now you're a 4, a 3.
They've changed their mind. You've given them too much.
Given them too much. So, Paul, what scenes did you go with? Because did you go with? You tell me.
Yeah, I had this nice long scene with Linz where I break down after I've had my whole blow up with my mother, and it's like a 4.5 minute scene, which are relatively rare on days to have long scenes like that. And you know, she's really like supporting me, and I'm just blabbing away and blubbering away. But it was nice, and it didn't feel like pushed. And I remember on the day everybody being really nice about it, and Linsey had just really carved out a lot of space and time for me that I wouldn't do for myself. Do you know what I mean? I would never ask the production for more time or to shush or whatever, but she was like a little pit bull protecting me and giving me a chance to just let him get where he needs to be for a second, because otherwise I'll just rush through it and squander it. I've done that in the past. I know specific scenes that I wish I had taken the time with, where I just, well, it's the show and we've got to keep moving. So it was that, and then it was maybe 2 or 3 scenes of me blowing up at Serena, Fiona, my mother, Xander's mother. And so it was just that. I think the whole thing was like 7.5 minutes, 8 minutes, but I just thought, well, that's just the best chunks. There's a really nice scene I had with Suzanne that I would have included if I didn't think the Fiona scenes were just that little, like they were kind of similar, if you know what I mean. At least from what I was doing, and I didn't want to be repetitive. I wanted each bit to show like a little bit of a different color. And I was just like, all right, well, that's about as good as I've ever been on the show. So if this ain't it, then it ain't it. That's fine. But at least, you know.
Linsey, did you know when I knew when I saw those scenes.
Yeah.
I thought they were so incredibly strong and memorable.
Yeah, and it was when we got the scenes, when we got the script, I read it, and the night before we were about to do it, I was going over them again, and I reached out to Paul because we had, I think maybe either a week prior or a few days prior had this conversation where he was like, he doesn't feel like he's had that opportunity to like really let himself like show what he's capable of doing as far as drama. And I literally, when I was reading the scenes, I texted him and was like, this is that moment. This is the thing that you said you didn't have. So now you're having it. Like, take the time. And I just knew, because Paul is so terribly polite. Like, I knew there was no way he would ask for what is needed for that kind of roller coaster of a scene. So yeah, I knew when it was happening, I was like, yeah.
Well, it's funny, Michael, like, because a lot of it obviously is the material. Like, they're all phenomenal actors. Like there's so many great actors just on days. Like everybody's so great. And what gets on telly, people don't understand. I mean, they hear us talk about like one rehearsal and one take, but it's true. Like, that's what we do. And so, like, if something good gets on TV, that's a miracle for everybody involved. Do you know what I mean? Because every other bit of TV you're watching, there's multiple takes and the music and the editing and everything is there to support you, whereas we don't get all that. And it's not boo-hoo. Like, I love the job, but when it comes to scenes like that, sometimes you just don't have the luxury of time and privacy to prepare the way you would on a normal, like or a more like primetime set. But I'd always said to myself, if Ron or whatever writer gave me a storyline that related to Xander's mother, then I would really try and go for it, because I guess there was a part of me that had always kind of held back a bit on my daytime work, only because it is difficult to put yourself in that place for all of like a 15-minute shoot, 20-minute shoot of this bit of the scene. But because of my own story, Paul's real life, my mother passed away like 20 years ago. I just knew if it ever came that would be the stuff. Like, to really, if not for this, then when would the opportunity come? So yeah, like Linsey knew that too, and just she was way ahead of me on a bunch of things on that. Plus, she just has such amazing experience of like crying on camera in all these different circumstances.
Oh, Linsey?
Like,
oh yeah,
me crying, like little things like she would ask me these questions. Oh my god, there was this one bit I still think about it. Like now, if I want to make myself cry, I don't even think about a real sad thing in my life. I think about what Linsey was saying to me in between the little takes, because she was like, what would your mum think of your house? If you could show your mother your living room, would she like it? And I was like,
I asked you which room in your house would your mom like the most? Because I know the answer, and it's Carmen's answer as well.
It's just it was amazing, and like obviously
it really was amazing. And does that mean for both of you, do you have the anxiety coming into those types of scenes, given how the fast pace of days, when you do have to hit something like that? Is there anxiety, or like, just let me stay out of my way, let me do this, like you were saying?
I think I just typically go into it as prepared as possible. Like those are the times where I'll be the most quiet. Yeah. And I know we don't know each other the best of friends, but we know each other so much that I'm not quiet.
So Linsey, what was on your reel? Was Paul on your reel?
I don't know if I tagged anything after them. I will say that I blacked out about it. I think I watched it once and I was like, just send it. I just do it. I don't want to. I don't even think I didn't even write the thing. I think Andrea had to write the thing, because I was like, I don't want to. Just. I did the scenes in the hospital with Suzanne after the accident. After she had been hit by a car, and I just to replay a very real thing, because it was, Aleda was 7 months old when I was run over by a car and had both of my legs broken. And Sarah has a 1-year-old baby in the show when she's struck by a car and loses the ability of both of her legs. So yeah, I just felt like telling that story was very powerful, because it was definitely powerful to replay and difficult to replay. And there was like every once in a while thing where I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that would really upset me. Like at one point they wanted me to put on
yes, I remember this.
And I don't usually have reactions like that. And certainly, like, you know, not to Deidre, who's like the most gentle, she's my makeup artist. But I immediately panicked and I was like, I can't have it on. I like, so I was very, yeah, I wanted to do those scenes. And also I just felt like I wanted other people to see Suzanne in those scenes.
Well, I was going to say, like, that was kind of the thing with Linsey. She was way more concerned with Suzanne and me than she was with herself. Like, both
yeah.
also during the submission process. Yeah.
I was putting together their reels more than I was dealing with mine.
I remember talking, and I remember, wasn't the situation when this story was written, Linsey, that they don't even know about what happened to you in real life somehow?
It was just like, it was such a, I mean, it's 10 years ago.
Right.
So I think it was just, it was one of those things that, like, it was not that they didn't know about it, but it's just, it was so far back here because it's a decade ago that when I was like, but remember in real life, and everybody was like, oh my God, yes. And they offered me to get, they offered a therapist to me. They kept like checking in through each little bib and bob, like, are you okay? Is this okay? How would you feel? Would it be all right? And it was just like, you know, it was such a lovely, and it was cathartic because I was doing it with people I loved and I trusted. And, you know, we are very fortunate over at our show. Like, you feel we have such a wonderful cast. But we also have this amazing crew and directing team and producers who are all so kind. And to have these people who I was having to relive this very traumatic thing be so lovely and so kind and so supportive, it was just, I mean, we're very lucky.
Yeah, it's
a good gig, man.
And I was talking to the one and only Peter Bergman earlier tonight.
Nice.
And I ran through the nominees, and he was like, I know Paul Telfer very well. You know, like what I love about Peter, and we've talked about this, is he knows people's work. He knows what they do. So he's very aware of you, Paul Telfer.
Oh,
so I thought
great. I always feel
now
like
you guys have to
I've
fight.
been hiding
that Emmy.
But I really do feel because I've only done days. Like, you know, Linsey's, you know, done other shows, and a lot of the people on the cast of other shows, a lot of the directors, a lot of even the camera people, like, have done other daytime shows. But I'm a days baby. That's the only one I've ever done. So I just feel like nobody really knows who I am outside of people that watch days. But it's lovely when I went to the Emmys last year with Suzanne. It was my first time going to the actual ceremony. When I was nominated before, it was during COVID, so we had to just record, you know, our little, you know, I guess, did I win? Speeches from home and submit them just in case we won. So my first real ceremony was last year, and I loved it. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, and you know,
it's only because you had the hottest date on your arm, didn't you?
But it was that feeling of like, oh, this really is a community. It's, you know, Days is a family, but the daytime world is this whole community of.
No, it's lovely, isn't it?
Right, and and you also have Eric Martsolf and Greg Rikaart, and this is
the best.
The three.
I mean, it couldn't be better. I was just like, the boys, my darling Greg, my darling Leo, and Brady, but still, I love them.
Yeah, that's three of my most favorite peoples.
And then Emily, and I mean,
and Em, and little Ash. Oh my God, I don't know. So
did you see that video of Ashley? That was so great.
Yeah, well, that was right after this. So when we were watching the reels, I was coming out of my room and Ash was coming out of her room, and we both looked at each other and at the same time went, your reel was so, and then we started laughing, and I was like, your reel was so good and I'm so proud of you. And she was like, your reel. And then Andrea comes in, knocks on my door. I thought she was coming to tell me something else. I actually had no idea. She came in singing it, and then left. And then I get this knock on my door, and I'm like, who has found this new room? I moved dressing rooms, and
got a new room in the corner.
I'm very upset that anybody knows where it is. But so she knocks on the door, and she comes in, and I already knew that she was nominated. Andrea told me. I knew everybody first.
Oh, you knew ahead of it.
I knew everybody first. And so she comes in, and we both yelled, and she just grabbed me, and we like in this hug, and we jumped up and down. And then she left my room and found Annalyn. And they're together.
Annalyn McCord, who's
Yes. And I thought I found Annalyn before she had spoken to Andrea. So I went running up to Annalyn and then realized, wait,
She doesn't.
And so I like kind of skidded towards her and I was like, have you talked to Andrea yet? And she was like, no. And I was like, I want to hug you. You need to talk to Andrea. And she goes, well, can't you hug me now? And I was like, yes, I'm going to hug you now and then later.
For real. Yeah.
And then yeah, it was really cute this time.
I'm very happy for Linsey Godfrey in general. This is Day's year. I can feel it.
Oh, that's nice. That'd be nice.
Yes, both pick scenes that refer to your real life. It's good reels. Between you and Linz. Beautiful stuff between you and Linz. Yeah. Candace, I'm rooting for these two to get nominated, especially the car accident. Xander's mom in the aftermath, and I'm calling it now. 2026, based off this year alone, those two will be nominated again. Yeah, I'm thinking so too. So, Paul, are you liking this? What I loved about the scenes that you are nominated for is that this is a completely different side of Xander that we got to see. And now he's been kind of a jerk again.
Yeah, Paul, why are you such a jerk?
Can anyone hear me?
Now we can. Can you not hear me? Paul?
Can you hear us, Paulithan?
Paul?
Can you hear me?
It's all gone quiet. Hold on.
Oh.
Okay.
Way to go, Paul.
Can you hear? Oh. It's just
God. I was sick of him anyway.
Now the party can start.
Thank God.
Thank God. Oh.
You know what's so funny is I came in at the end of Stafford's interview with you, and you guys were talking about fashion, and she and I were matching dresses last year.
You're kidding.
No. And no one knew. And we were like waiting for somebody.
Dress on?
Yeah, we had the same dress on. She took a photo of us next to each other holding each other.
So what is it like for you to do the finding the dress thing? Do you like that? Is it like a thing? Like
I don't know. I struggle with like finding what I want, like a dress that represents like me as a person. And so yeah, I don't know. I like doing it online.
Did I miss it?
I no.
Can you hear us? You can't hear us? Paul?
Hello?
Now I can hear you.
Like everybody's running their air up here, so like I had to bounce off the Wi-Fi just died, so I had to jump on myself. So I'm amazed that I'm getting cell reception right now. If this works, hi.
You're kind of like jerky to.
Yeah. Oh no, it doesn't work.
Like not clear.
That's what you look like.
Oh yeah. Well.
But can you hear us?
You just talk. You know what I can hear you perfectly. Just let Linsey talk. She knows what I would say.
What would he say? You were talking about, is it awful to select like go look for something?
If I can do it like rapid fire online first, then that's awesome. I hate going into a store to try on clothes, but I will if I have to. I just prefer never having to. But yeah, it causes me stress, and then I eventually get annoyed, and then I go, fine, just this one will be fine. And then when I get it, I'm like, oh, okay.
I also have to find a dress.
Yeah, because you got to wear your kilt.
You have to wear your kilt. Paul is Jerry G says.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's all right.
Have you met Linsey, though?
What do you think of Linsey? Linsey, you've got Courtney Hope, Kate Manzi, Emily O'Brien. It's a big group, a good group.
Yeah, I reached out to everyone just because like they're fantastic actors, and I'm really excited to be nominated with them, and to do it again with Emily makes me so happy. I love me some Emily O'Brien.
She's amazing. She wasn't available tonight to join us, but I wanted to.
She told me it was personal.
She's in Vancouver.
The other end, it's like, what do you mean they're not coming? I'm like, they're not coming to my show.
Wow.
But I do love Emily. I'm sorry she
Emily O'Brien.
On the list.
on the list. You know, Serena was so amazing.
Oh,
as
you
the
heard me say that? Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me? I hear you.
Yes. Okay.
This is a bad Verizon commercial.
I'm doing my best.
Where are you?
In his house. He just lives in the mountains.
Yeah, it's like trying to get some signal.
Yep. I also live in the mountains, though, I will say, with over here with my superior Wi-Fi.
Linsey and Paul are gonna die. Move you, Paul. Can we move you to another room?
I'm sorry you're interviewing us at the same time.
It's not that. There's no. Hold on. Let me see if the Wi-Fi's back on. Yeah, let's just walk around, see the house. Why not?
Yes.
Hey, show him the orange room. Since we were talking
Is it
about
better?
it.
Can
You like
is this better?
no? Are you no?
It
Are
says
you in
the
a
Wi-Fi's
mountain?
on?
Okay.
I am. Hold on. Try this. All right. There's some lights. Can you hear me now? Is the Wi-Fi kicked in? I'm literally squatting next to my router in the hopes of getting some Wi-Fi. Is it working?
It's like better, but like only a little bit.
I need to clip this off for a reel on Instagram just of the.
But I need to talk about my dress. What I'm going to wear.
No, you missed the train on your dress.
But you did a no? Did you do? No, he didn't do it.
You did a kilt last year,
No,
yeah.
last year.
No, I didn't. I'm going to do a kilt
did?
this year.
Ah.
Oh.
Like Suzanne, like I thought I would. I wouldn't inflict the kilt on Suzanne, so I went the
She would
tuxedo.
love it.
She would, but I promised myself if I did get nominated for lead actor, then I would wear my kilt. So
She said
it has to
that
happen.
she said that if she's gonna go, she wants to go with us. As her
Yay!
date. I know.
Well, Carmen can't go. Carmen's performing on the East Coast, so I'll have I need a plus one.
I was literally going to
my
say
plus
about
one.
Carmen.
No,
Sorry?
can we fly her home? I want Carmen to be there.
You have to miss like 5 shows to do.
Oh,
Yeah, so not going to happen.
sure.
But
on account of the
next
money and
year-
the commitment.
Well, it's funny because last year at the ceremony, they were asking if I could get Carmen to sing at the ceremony this year. I was like, well, we'll see if I'm nominated. But now I am, and she can't do it. So.
So what happened when did Carmen? How did Carmen know? Did you tell Carmen like what happened today?
We were well, so it was for
lead actor. It was yesterday.
night.
I keep forget.
Yeah.
You know what? I know that, but you understand. It's so weird to me. Like it's like I don't particularly like doing it. It's like
Yeah,
it's like, wait, because even for me, it's like wait, the lead actors are like, you know. But yes,
I'm just going to sit on the floor. Hold on.
Where are you going?
There we go.
I'm sitting on the
There we
floor. I always sit on the
much
floor.
better.
I have
Well,
floor
it was
pillows.
funny, Michael. Well, I wish I had a pillow. Luxury.
Should I
No,
go
it
on
was
the
funny
floor?
because Carmen and I were running around doing chores. We were literally at the DIY store, and I got a text from Andrea at PR saying, "Hey, make sure you're watching Entertainment Tonight." And I was like, "I never watch Entertainment Tonight."
Why would I be doing that?
And it didn't really, and I didn't really click as to why. And I was like, well, she wouldn't say that unless it was something good. And so I just thought it was about the pickup for Days. I thought like it'd be like news that Days was getting renewed or whatever. So I was like, nice. Because I was trying to be cool and pretend to myself that I didn't care. So I was trying not to pay attention to when the nominations were happening and was looking for things to distract me. And so when it came through early, it was a really, really nice surprise, like a proper like, and really when I found out was when I got a text from Greg and Eric. They put together a text thread, and it was just I think Martsolf saying my dudes. And again, I just thought we have a big cast Days thread, that we all text each other on, and I'd assumed it was just something on that, and I wasn't privy to it. And we were driving around. Carmen's just come in. Come and say hello.
Yay! Hi, Carmen.
Down.
Do you want to come say hi?
This is my intern. Come see. Oh, where's that? She's.
Hey guys.
Gabby,
Yes. Hey, Kevin.
We're all
Wait, why are
sitting on
you
the
shirtless
floor.
and I'm not?
We're all on.
What'd you say?
Oh, Paul, you must have.
I said, why is he shirtless and I'm not? It's a switcheroo.
Everyone is
But
confused.
that's what but that was how I found out, was from it was like Greg and Eric congratulating each other, and I was like, what? And then all of a sudden everybody, I started getting text. It was a really cool surprise. It was really, I wasn't expecting it. Everybody was being very nice and telling me that it was going to happen, and then when it does, you know, these things are crazy. And as Michelle was saying in your previous interview, you know, we all twist each other up in knots about it, about how much we should care. It's such a lovely thing to be recognized by your peers, regardless of the circumstances. And I'm not going to have to be anything but a lovely thing that happened in my life. So yeah, it's great.
And I gave so many people $5 to vote for him, so I'm really happy.
It paid off. That your investment paid off. No, you want to know what I'm happy about? Because I really wanted this for Paul.
Me too.
I really wanted this for Paul. I thought he did such great work, and he was the one, you know, in the nominee. I was just hoping, because I felt if they saw what, you know, they took it the way I did.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm a judge, but
are you?
I was rooting for Paul to score a nomination for sure, and he knows that. It was great.
That's kind of cool. But I will say, I did Nick like the last couple of weeks. I was like saying, "Oh, maybe I should have gone supporting again." You know, I was supporting before, but I've got grey hair now, so I think I'm allowed to go leading. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's part of it, like a, you know, like a veteran now. I've got my greys coming in. So
You're all glitchy, friend. You're all robot voice.
Okay, sorry.
Hey, Glitch City.
Everyone's still there?
Carmen!
Congratulations!
Yay, Carmen!
Wait, Carmen.
I can't hear Carmen. Hi, we can't see you.
Like, we're breaking up. Our Wi-Fi is died, guys. That's all I can say. Like, we've got power. I'm trying to get right next to the route.
Can we move you to a new house that has Wi-Fi?
Can we move you to a new house?
Can we move to a new house?
Pick up, get out.
Yeah.
Kevin, you want to come say hi to Carmen? No, it's okay. You can be on the couch.
Carmen, can you hear me? They're cutting out.
Yes, hi.
So, are you excited for Paul?
It's just
nope.
I am so excited for him. Only thing that I can't believe I'm not going to be here when the ceremony.
I know. I'm livid.
Can we get an understudy?
Yeah, Kevin will do it.
Hey, Carmen. Carmen, I hear you're singing at the Emmys, and you're going to be
so excited to see you at the Emmys singing this year. We can't wait. That's what you said, everyone.
I'm going to say congratulations to you guys.
All right, guys.
Okay, bye.
We have to go.
We have to go.
Yeah,
one day,
stop
Michael,
talking,
we'll do
Paul.
these and there'll be no technical difficulties.
Okay,
that's not true. He's often glitchy in person as well.
We're gonna move you to a new house to do interviews. Thank you both so much for taking the time.
Michael.
So wonderful. Congratulations, Paul. Much love. See you soon.
Thanks, man.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. We have one more interview, and then I'll talk to you guys about all your General Hospital questions. Before we went on, Blake Berris, who's nominated for supporting actor, wanted to be part of tonight, but he is in Europe, actually in Ireland. And so we pre-recorded his interview earlier today. So I'm going to play that for you now. If you just hold on one sec. is with us, everybody. Outstanding Supporting Actor nominee from Days of Our Lives. But you are not here in the United States, which is why we are pre-recording this before the rest of tonight's show. Thank you for doing this. What are you, 9 hours ahead of me right now? Or
I'm just recently, now I'm 8. I think I'm 8 hours ahead of you now. Yeah.
8 hours? And where are you? What part of
we were actually in for some reason it always feels so like you feel so annoying when you're like talking about Europe. You know what I mean? You just like come off like an annoying person. Like, oh, we were just in France. Like anyway, my wife is making a film here later this year, and so there a lot of the sort of pre-production is happening over here. So we enrolled the kids in a school outside of Nice, which is where we were staying, and now they're done with that, and we're in Ireland, where her family is from.
So how did you find out today that you were nominated? Let's talk about the moment you found out after the whole mess that the whole submission mess that was such a mess.
It was I'm so honored to be nominated, and truly like I'm really stoked. I submit like every year I can, and I don't usually get nominated, so I'm really stoked.
Wait, is this your second nomination though?
It's my second nomination. Yeah, I got nominated like I was a kid though. Like it was back when they had the.
Were you Lonely Splicer?
It was that era. Yeah. It was a Lonely Splicer era. I think if I think about it, I think my Emmy it was all different. Like it wasn't the editing. I think you had to like submit a scene and then maybe like a full episode sort of a thing. And it was me. Oh yeah, I was stalking Molly Burnett.
As one does.
As one does. Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't? Molly Burnett.
Sorry, Molly. That's creepy.
All right, Molly. We don't. No.
We love you. So I got nominated, as Best Younger Actor at that time, and I was also off the show when that happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't currently on the show when I was nominated, so I went back and saw everyone, and it was so much fun. I brought my mom, and my manager was there, and it's so fun.
And so what happened today?
So what happened today was I got an email.
I got a text message.
I got a text message from somebody who told me that I got nominated. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel is this nice vindication? I think it is. How do you feel about it? Because I just want to give a little context. So there was a mix-up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want me to give it? Or,
give us the cliff note.
Yeah. I mean, I made a decision to post this online because there was a big mix-up. I had just to sort of basically rephrase what I had put on my Instagram at the time that I found out. Basically, soap actors choose the scenes that they put forward. You cut together a reel. Normally, I think like you can have let the show cut it for you if you want, but I think most actors, if they have the bandwidth or interest, cut it together themselves. And in our case, like you give like really, really precise notes about like what scenes. And the way that I worked on it was that I basically asked for all of the scenes that I might be interested in having on the reel. And I asked for them and sort of gave time code. Like you go in, you get the time codes. And I found them, and then they sent that to me, and then I combed through it literally for a week. Just like I was like, I know I have a cool, like this is like one of the coolest storylines I've ever had. I want to go for it, and I was excited to do it. And it was fun. And I got it down to like a clean sort of 5 minutes that I felt really good about. And I ended up drawing, actually, like I added some stuff that wasn't in the original reel and whatever. And I submitted it and I sent it to them, and cool, got it, whatever. Never thought about it again until I ended up on the phone with somebody, or maybe somebody just texted me, an actor on another show, and they were like, oh, loved your Emmy reel. And they pointed out this scene that I was like, that wasn't in my Emmy reel. Like, wait, what? And I asked them, how long was the reel that you watched? Anyway, I realized that it was the rough one, which really, I mean, I don't want to be sorry. I'm so stoked to be fucking nominated. I'm just
it's so amazing. I just want to clarify that, just so for the viewers, the reel that was the one that wasn't the reel you exactly wanted, that is the one that they voted on.
That is the one they voted on, and people gave me a fucking Emmy
nomination. A high five anyways.
Yeah. So it worked out. And I'm like really surprised because I was really like embarrassed about my reel. It just was something that I never thought people would see. I never wanted, you know what I mean? It was like, honestly, for my eyes only, but I can't believe it. I got an Emmy nomination out of it, and I'm so stoked.
Well, it was such amazing work. And I think it's, for people that don't know, you played like dual roles, but it was really an alter. Mm-hmm. You were Bobby Stein, mm-hmm. and Everett Lynch.
Yeah.
And when you came to the show, I remember us having to tiptoe around this when you came back. You knew from the get-go, they said you were going to be split person.
No. So, I mean, like I'm off the show. I feel like I can spill the tea now. Basically, no. So like at the time, Ron was the head writer and Albert was the EP, and they were like, we want you back. That's a new character. Marnie, I got the call from Marnie, and I was stoked. I'd been fighting for it. Like I went in and did the Heaven stuff, and they'd had me back a few times, and I was really like, I have 3 kids. I would like to be on the show. And then they were like, yeah, we're doing it. And they started off the storyline. They didn't tell me that much. She was a journalist. And then there was some of the Jada with, like, I was taking photos and I knew that she had this other storyline. I didn't know how they were going to be related. Then the writer's strike happened, and I literally do not know who was writing the show. To be honest with you, I mean, I loved what Ron was doing, and I liked what they did with the storyline. I thought it was like a great storyline, and I loved doing it. Whoever wrote it. But what happened was that I believe, I have heard that Ron was not happy with what they did with the storyline, and axed it. Which was really hard because I, whatever, like have 3 kids, and had felt like, had negotiated a second contract with them, and they were like, in January we can give you a little bit more, this sort of thing. And so it felt like I was going to be there on the canvas for a while. So I was pretty bummed. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's TV. It's not, But so anyway, so they wrapped it up quite quickly, that storyline, when the writers came back, and that was how that ended.
Yeah, because it just seemed like all of a sudden he was put into this thing that he was in Connie's way, and I was like,
yeah. And that said, like, I mean, I loved some of the stuff that they wrote at the end, like as I was, walking toward my poisoned cafe latte death. But yeah, it was also a bummer.
What do you know the gentlemen in the category with you? Are you familiar with anybody? Taj Bello, Michael Graziadei, Jonathan Jackson, 5-time Emmy winner. right?
Yes. So I have done some Googling.
Gregory Harrison.
Yes. I know the name Michael Grosday. Like, I feel like he's like serious icon. Joshua Jackson, as far as I know, like just had a big thank you. Just had like a big return and apparently is amazing. I'm excited to find out more about these dudes, and it seems like I'm in very good company.
Will you be back from Europe in October to attend?
I will. No, we're moving back. My kids will be in LA schools in August, so we're coming back soon. Yeah.
This is a nice capper for you for your Days of Our Lives journey.
It is. Yeah.
Which has been one of very interesting that few actors have. Like, you've been able to come back. Because I think they knew you were a great actor from the beginning. And it's like, well, wait, how do we, they kept bringing it back. And
they're like, I don't know. Kill him.
I don't know what.
We got to kill him again.
What did your family say when everybody found out you're nominated today?
So like, I mean, I've talked to my sister. I mean, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what my son Lear said. He was like, he's very trophy oriented. He loves trophies. He wants trophies. He covets trophies. He once we were at Goodwill and he was like, I want to buy that trophy. And I was like, I nearly was like, whatever. It's like $2. You can and then I was like, no. You can't buy a trophy. You earn a trophy. But anyway, so he was like, he's 6. He just turned 6. He was very excited that I was potentially going to get a trophy. But as he was going to bed, he was like, but you know what, Dado? He's like, if you don't get it, you have so many trophies from when you were a kid. And I was like,
you're right.
You're right.
You're really right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, your nose
I was like, sweetheart, this trophy is much more important. I didn't say that.
In more ways. Yeah. That is so cute, though, right?
It was really cute. It was really cute.
Do you like getting dressed up for the Emmys and stuff like that? Is that?
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah,
I do.
Yeah. Like, I'm excited to figure out who I'm gonna wear, the whole thing. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Nancy mentioned to me that she just loves you and is so glad that you.
I adore her, and I'm like sort of working with her husband, who she just married. Her new husband, Matt, on something, which is cool. And I mean, Kate is like, I'm so thrilled for her Emmy nomination. She could not deserve it more, and she's my homie.
She sent me a very nice note today, and you were in the note, and I just think that it's so amazing from when I knew both of you when you were much younger,
babies. I know.
I met you both, and you both were babies on Days. In the early time of your years, and it's amazing, like, what's gone on. Like, you're still, like, what you guys have done, and you're still
kicking around.
It is so nice to celebrate with you, Blake. I would not want to let this go without seeing you. And
I'm so glad we got to do this and offer I'm so excited to see all these people. Like, I mean, I was texting with Eric, so excited for him. He had such amazing, nice words, and Linsey and Greg and Paul and Emily and Linsey. It's all
great group. Yeah, it's a great group.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you in October.
See you in October.
Hang tight when we end here. Thank you so much.
Bye, Michael.
Hey, everybody. So that was our final interview with Blake Berris. So I want to address everybody's comments that I see. I know you're very disappointed that there were not many General Hospital actors on the show. Of course, I love General Hospital, and we did everything we could today to get a hold of them, and everybody was reached out to, but the way it was working based on the fact they're on hiatus this month, people were, you know, somebody was in Disneyland, somebody was traveling in Chicago, somebody was in meetings all day. It was that kind of thing, trying to coordinate with every single person. Laura was so kind to be here tonight, but I did try to get Jonathan Jackson, Nancy, Kate, Gregory Harrison. It was literally like everybody had a timing issue or was already committed to something else completely unrelated to the Emmys, or they would have been here tonight. They sent a lot of apologies. So to your point, Debbie Z, you asked, Michael, would you be able to do another show, GH Actors? I am going to try to see when everybody's available to try to do that. It may be in a few weeks or so, or next month when they're back in August, or maybe I can get it together sooner. But stand by. You know, this is who we got. I hope you like who we got. I know that we're not General Hospital people. And up to the last minute, right as we were on the air, I was texting back and forth with people to see if they could make it or what the situation was. So every best effort was made. Okay, so I appreciate you being here. Hope you understand from my end too. And oh yes, one other, yes, let me address this. So Luna, we were trying to get her, but she is actually shooting a movie in Canada right now. So it would have been like 11:30 or 12 midnight her time for her to be on today, but she was also potentially going to be part of this. So that's kind of what happened behind the scenes. So since I always do the show the night that Emmy nominations are announced, I thought I should keep a tradition and just do it. So thank you for being here. This is the official kickoff of the Daytime Emmy Awards. Make sure in October, you will, I'm sure, watch them. We're trying to figure out how that's all going to be, and more information will be made at that time. You'll have more coverage at Michael Fairman TV. Look for more upcoming celebrity live streams and features. I'm losing my voice. Coming up on the Michael Fairman channel, and tell your friends to subscribe to this channel. Bye, Peter. Bye, Gene. Bye, Freeman. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good night.